now entering the Bass Galaxy.
This is Teal's Bass Galaxy. I'm your host. This podcast is about raw, real conversations with real awesome people about bass fishing, bass boats, and heck, there are no limits in the galaxy. Attention all Bastronauts. This podcast is supported by the Bass Galaxy's title sponsor, Waypoint Angler Supply, the Midwest's new landing pad for hardcore anglers just like you and me. If you're looking for the sneaky goods you can't find anywhere else, look no further. Waypoint Angler Supply has the largest offering of JDM tackle in the Midwest, and they are right here in Minnesota on Lake Minnetonka. This is truly a place every bass fisherman in Minnesota needs to visit because we finally have a tackle shop in the state that's as dreamy as the ones you find down south. And the staff at Waypoint Angler Supply understands the various needs of us anglers, which is why you'll find the selection there so enticing. Ross and the folks at Waypoint Angler Supply are passionate about carrying the right stuff, providing an authentic customer experience, and they listen to the anglers. And it doesn't end at JDM baits. They stock all the top U.S. brands, as well as local Minnesota brands like Veselka Fishing and Customs, Arsenal Fishing, Bait Lab Custom Swim Baits, All Terrain Tackle, Bagley Northland, Outcast Tackle, and more. So stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. Use the code GALAXY20 to save 20% on your next tackle binge. Today's guests are Champions Tour staff. This is an exciting preview into the Classic Bass Champions Tour season here in Minnesota. We've got tournament director Paul Neumann and Champions Tour staff Glenn Walker and Jack Gavin, and we're going to look at the Champions Tour season for this year. Let's check it out.
Galaxy podcasts to listen to
You
in
gonna
the tractor
binge?
planting.
Are you gonna binge?
And I was going to binge while I was planting corn.
That's cool, man.
And I forgot all about it and haven't listened to any for quite a while.
So what, Desperate Housewives on your phone?
No, there's other things I watch on my iPad. Oh, yeah, I got 2 iPads in the tractor. Hell yeah. One for monitoring the planter, and the other one's for Amazon Prime and HBO Max. Heck yeah.
Nice.
When it drives itself, you got to have something to do.
Well, when you do get to that binge, all I'm going to say is Chad Smith's Super Soaker has a name, and I'll leave it at that.
Wait, whoa. Chad Smith Super Soaker has a name. What does that have to do with me?
You'll find out.
The Neumann.
Hello, Neumann.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
We are up here in beautiful Mille Lacs country. Jack, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank my parents. Yeah, we're at the place here in Walk-On Bay. So
Heck yeah, we've got Media Day tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, we got the first ever kind of dedicated media day for the Champions Tour. So yeah, really, really excited. It's gonna be beautiful weather tomorrow, and yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
And like typical Champions Tour anglers, they were pre-fishing today for Media Day tomorrow.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
you got to look good on camera. They can't-
Yeah.
I'm pre-fishing tomorrow during the,
That's my
during
boy.
the
I like
media
it.
tournament.
I like it. I pre-fished today for Media Day tomorrow, but I was not pre-fishing.
Do we
I just needed to go fishing.
Do we have the Real Live Well app queued up for Media Day tomorrow?
No, there will be no Real Live app tomorrow. Tomorrow you just go have fun.
Time out.
I
Next
love it.
year we're doing it. Next year we're doing it. If Media Day
All right.
participants are pre-fishing, we're setting up an event on the Real Live Well app next year.
Just do a straight old fashioned like Calcutta.
Hey, Teal, you want to be in on this? What would you
Yeah.
throw down?
For a media day derby?
Yeah.
A couple hundred.
Come on.
What?
I mean, this is,
Is
a
that a lot or a
special
little? That was a lot.
media
That's
day
a lot
is
to me.
a special invite deal. I'm thinking a G.
Jeez.
Jeepers. How many boats? Jeepers.
I mean, I'm going to have to tournament direct it, so this ain't on me. That's why I'm pushing up the fee. But if he let me in, I might be willing to negotiate.
Yeah, I'm out. That's all,
All
you
right,
guys.
I guess I'm
Too
too
rich.
Too rich.
Too
for
rich.
your blood.
Too rich for
All
his
right.
blood.
All right, fine.
I already spent my entry
How about
money
$10?
for the year. I'm already too deep on the entry money. I don't put it back in the slot
How about
machine
$10 and we'll just
when
come
I
up with a
don't
cool
have it.
media day trophy?
I like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of firsts. In fact, this is kind of the first Champions Tour preview ever before recorded on a podcast, and kind of cool to see how far the Champions Tours come over the years. I mean, when was the Champions Tour officially started? And for people who don't know, this is probably the top tier level every fish counts tournament series in the Midwest, and it's owned by Scott Bonema, who founded this, and it's kind of revived kind of that big circuit tournament in the Midwest that kind of the Silverados or some of those used to fill.
Yep.
And it was what, 2018, 2017?
17.
Yeah, so we worked with Scott on the Classic Bass website for a few years. Just if anyone remembers that, it was, used boat sales, and we worked with him on that and some content on the website, and he came to us with the idea of starting up the Champions Tour. It was his idea, and that's kind of where our responsibilities shifted, was to start helping him out with that and marketing it and getting people involved, obviously. And 2017 was the first Champions Tour season.
Yep.
And I don't want to stop you, Jack, but for those that don't know, Jack, you especially are behind the scenes at the tour. Glenn, you are behind the scenes. You are, both you guys are the heart and soul of putting this tour together. But for everybody who doesn't know, being, Glenn, you're a little more out front. Jack, you're definitely behind the scenes. But Jack Gavin and Glenn Walker, they're with Providence Marketing. And the Champions Tour, we hired you guys to work with us. And just to get this off, I mean, I think you guys are really the heart and soul of the organization of this event, the behind-the-scenes guys. I mean, I am the tournament director, but it is the loosest definition of tournament director ever. Glenn and Jack, they're planning locations and venues and this and that. I just really got to worry about the rules and stuff. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who you guys were and what you really do for the tour.
Thank you. So let me ask you this. If you had to be a tournament director and weigh fish, could you?
Could I? Absolutely.
Okay.
Would
Okay.
I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Would you go like the butcher shop apron or rain suit?
I don't
Man,
know.
fish.
I don't know. My tournament director, I mean, you guys said, the tour started in 2017. I've been a part of it since 2019.
19.
So
yeah.
I kind of got in this a little bit later. And my number one goal is to emulate Mr. John Hesse, the best tournament director I've ever fished a tournament running. And he had a guy by the name of Gary Borchard who weighed the fish. And John just guessed the weight of the bag, because they were all Berkeley Trilene weighing bags, the old plastic. And depending on how high the fish stacked up to the Trilene logo, he could guess. He was good at it. So I'm thinking if I had to weigh fish, I'd find me a guy like Gary to weigh them for me.
there you go.
That's kind of more my style.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, Teal, I mean, we've come quite a long ways. I mean, 2017 we kicked it off, and obviously under the Every Fish Counts format, and tried to get it online where people could watch and track it. And I think over the years we've tried to fine tune that as best as we can. It's not easy. We'll be honest. I mean, technology is always a fun thing, and service and all that good stuff. And we started out doing a little bit different thing, and now with the Real Liveable app, that's really changed things for us in a positive way, big time. And that has helped immensely. And it's our own app that Scott owns, and we obviously use for the tournament, and other groups can use it for their tournaments, and that's really evolved a lot of things. But to your point, it's come a long ways with the whole technology and digital online features of tournaments that you see across the nation now. And it's something that, I think we worked hard on, especially Glenn, for sure. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
The Real Live Well app, to me, that is kind of the specialty secret sauce behind the scenes that, for anybody who doesn't know, like, what all goes into making an app and working with a company to make an app. I can't
And nobody
imagine.
at this table knows.
I can't
guarantee you
imagine.
that.
So
I
for the
promise.
record, I do not make apps. I am not a
Glenn, you made
coder or
it.
developer.
Okay.
So what is really cool with the Real Live Lab, so going back to 2017, we used another scoring app online and weren't really sure what we were going to get. There was no information out there. And I think at the time there was only really two options. One you had to pay, one was free, and we went with the free one because I think it worked better for what we were wanting to do. And the first inaugural event was out here on Mille Lacs, and we're sitting there at Rocky Reef Resort, and all of a sudden there's some issues with this other app, and we're not able to make any edits. So then Jack and I were sitting in Rocky Reef like, okay, what are we going to do? So, when people say they have on-the-job like training or on-the-job problem solving, like Jack and I and Scott and his wife Nancy, we've had like the first year, there were times when we're like, okay, curveball, like we need to pivot pretty quick and figure it out. And so that was year one. Year two, we also started here on Mille Lacs with another app, and it worked fine for about the first 5 minutes, and then it literally, there was so many fish catches going in and so many people looking at it, it crashed. Like it straight up, it was like Black Friday sale and it just burned. So we had it. So then we quickly went back to the original app for that year. So then after that year, Scott decided we're gonna make our own app. We worked on it. And it's so we have some great partners that use it. The Student Angler Tournament Association or Tournament Trail, the Student Angler Tournament Organization, which is the Virtual Fishing League. TBF uses it for their state tournament, which is this will be the third year. So even though they do weigh tournaments all season, for their state tournament they do catch, weigh, release. Who else? And then it was pretty cool. So the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic, last year they used it, and we developed a feature where to turn it into basically a virtual live leaderboard. So the St. Jude is obviously a catch, put your best fish, 6 fish in the live well, bring them in. But to be able to give the fans, the anglers, all the people that donate to that organization that instant knowledge of who's doing well. A member from our team is at that event entering in, so if you and Dane are fishing it and you weigh in, 6 fish for 20 pounds, he enters it in, and so then it populates, and he's entering it in where it gives you your average for the 6 and your big fish. You're not just doing one entry for, one fish at 20 pounds. It's actually 20 pounds for 6 fish, averages it out. So, and so that's the great thing what we've developed with the app is it's very customizable. Tournaments can use it for, best fish, but big fish tournaments. The Minnesota or the Teen Challenge event, they do some things up in Canada. We're using it there. So it's very, very cool. Learned a lot, and it's definitely, I think, like you said, it is the secret sauce that really allows the Champions Tour to do what it does. And while I said to do what it does, we can't do it without our boat officials. So I really want to thank them. Every year these high school kids come out, give their time, and I guess more so thanks to their parents for getting them there. We've gone to Vermilion, we've gone to Pelican. And that's not just getting in the car at an hour before takeoff to get there. That's a commitment. So so the boat officials are definitely the life. They're part of the lifeblood of our organization, because without them, you guys wouldn't be fishing. It's you got to have someone with you, and there's only so many people in Minnesota that want to be in the boat and not fish.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, on the boat official thing, to me, if you're a kid wanting to get into tournament fishing more or wanting to learn more about the sport of bass fishing, to me, like when I was a kid or of younger years, I was an AM for the Silverado.
Yep.
And that was priceless, like learning for me as a kid. So the opportunity that these AMs have, or marshals, excuse me, have on the Champions Tour, to me is priceless. And I think those parents, you know, supporting their kids and what they want to continue to learn and what they want to continue to excel at, that's perfect for them. And with you guys in that Real Live Well app, even as a fisherman fishing those tournaments, I'll say it's really cool for my family or my friends to be able to follow along during the tournament.
I think
and
that's
honestly,
the best thing. Yep.
It provides an experience that people in Minnesota really haven't felt before with tournament fishing, that you kind of bring the spectators and the audience and all of these people who care about the fishermen along with you.
Yeah. And the fact you
that's
can
beautiful.
jump on and see, you know, you pick out, you pull up the leaderboard and you can see who's doing well, and boom, hey, there's Aaron Teal, my favorite angler. Let's see what he caught, click on it. And now I can see the actual picture of every fish he caught.
Right.
You know, and so, I mean, it's not, you know, a full live stream of you guys catching them, but man, it's the closest thing we can do. But it's really, you know, just like you said, people are really loving to follow it and watch it, and you get to see the fish and this and that, which, you know, everybody wants to see fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care where you are in the world. People are enamored by pictures of fish or a big fish hanging on the wall or this and that. We're just going to do it over your phone.
Yep.
So
No, I think that's another way that the Champions Tour has evolved a lot is you guys as anglers are understanding that aspect more and more every year in terms of the boat marshals and the high school anglers, and just incorporating them into the day. You know, I mean, obviously you guys are fishing for a lot of money. You're fishing to qualify to fish for a skeeter boat. There's a lot on the line, but I think all of our anglers have done an incredible job of you know, making sure that boat marshal has a good day and learns something. You're not, you know, you don't just go blinders and don't talk to them all day. You're including them in the process, including them in the day, teaching them some stuff, showing, you know, this and that. And I think every year our anglers are figuring that out more and more, that, hey, if it wasn't for these kids, we wouldn't be here. So let's make sure that, you know, they get a lot out of this, which they 100% do. So that's kind of a little bit of an overlooked feature or aspect of the Champions Tour that's huge, you know.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you, Jack. And I think that's really, really, really important about what we do at the tour. And I think it was definitely a vision of Scott's, is that we're a group of guys who want to fish competitively. We want to fish for a lot of money, boats and prizes and this and that. But at the same time, we're recognizing that this sport isn't just about us on that day. It's about so much more. It's about mentoring youth, getting them into this, teaching them how to fish it. It's really about just, not only are we here to compete and fish for a whole ton of money and this and that, but like, wait a minute, there's also other aspects of life going on here that we need to incorporate too, which I think all of our anglers, like you said, are really doing a great job with it. So we're teaching these kids, these high school marshals, not only how to fish, how to this and how to that, but also that it's not just all about putting the blinders on. And I'm here for $13,000 and nothing else, because there's so much more in life about that. And I think that was a big vision of Scott's, and I think you guys of anglers have embraced that, and that's what I think Scott's wanted and all of us have wanted.
So I think that's a great segue. So this year we're doing a Pro-Am event.
Yeah.
And so this is Scott's vision, and this has taken several years to put in place, partially due to COVID that kind of set us back on it. But so this year, the day after our Whitefish Tour event, we have a Pro-Am where all you tour anglers will be back out on Whitefish the next day, fishing with a randomly paired boat official as your AM, and instead of an every fish counts, it's your best 7.
Oh, best 7.
Best 7.
Still through the lot.
Still through the lot. Yep. So the app will automatically
This will
call
be
your fish.
your memories of a Silverado event for you, Teal.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
You get to fish as a team with your AM.
Yep.
Those were great, man. It was cool. My pro didn't back boat me.
Well,
Nice.
you got
It
an
was
opportunity
nice.
to
I
back
got to
out your
cast
ham
at the
this year,
Deuce
but you
most
better
of the
not.
time.
So right now, what are you going to do different for a Pro-Am 7 fish compared to an every fish count on Whitefish?
Well, if you're asking Matt Thompson, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. No, I think if it was 5, I would say smallmouth. I would probably target more smallmouth maybe for the
So
Pro-Am.
3 guys that
You can't catch 7 smallmouth teal?
See,
On white,
Come
it
on.
depends on the lake.
Come
On whitefish, it depends on the day.
pushing it.
Like
It's
pushing it is. Whitefish is not a numbers fishery for smallmouth, from my experience, past the spawn.
There's more fish off the end of Jack's dock and walk on more smallmouth at the end of his dock than there probably are in all of whitefish. And there's a lot of smallmouth in whitefish, don't get me wrong. There's just a heck of a lot more off the end of his dock.
I should have had this podcast on the end of his dock. From the sounds of it, like
Hey,
wacky
dude.
Senko around.
Could have the
Yeah.
first
Aaron, you
live
pick
catch.
this spot.
on-
Aaron, you pick this spot.
I was presented the options, Paul, and
You
this
got to learn
was
how to
the
pick
option
outside
I
the
picked.
box.
Correct. I was in a little bit of a hurry today.
You got
You
all
had
this
to play
going
Doctor.
on now.
Oh yeah.
So I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
how that's interfering.
Someday I'll be the silver fox like you, all in good time.
No, there's only one. Silver Fox. I'm hiding mine.
Scott Bonema.
Yes,
That's
there's
right.
only one.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Pro-Am I think will be a great event to give back. It'll open, I think it'll show people the opportunities that Catch Weigh Release has for other events, because it's not just the every fish counts. So that'll be fun.
Totally a way to just, again, pay back
Yes.
those high school anglers and, again, their moms and dads and the commitment that they make to travel all over the state with us. And it's their opportunity to get in the boat and actually have a fishing rod in their hand for once.
I wanted to make it where you guys just guided them, and they were fishing a tournament, and you had to weigh their fish, but I got overruled. So
Appreciate whoever did that.
yeah,
Not that, we're all about giving back.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's an honor as an angler to fish the Champions Tour, because to me it truly is the premier run event. I've never seen events run so smooth, and you guys do such a good job making us anglers just feel well taken care of. And you bring in that bigger picture, and holy smokes, it's a learning experience, and it's an honor to fish the tour too. So just really appreciate. Nobody really sees all the work you guys put in, or all the phone calls you take.
all the work Jack and Glenn do. You mean
Yeah, not Neumann.
Mostly
kidding,
Glenn. Mostly
but-
Glenn.
mostly Glenn? Actually,
Newman gets the phone calls.
I get. Well, I've been doing a pretty good job at diverting them only to you. So a lot of people think you're the tournament director, not me. So
I have a
that's-
question. What's the most common phone call reason you get as a tournament director? Like, what if there's a phone call that you get more consistently than another? Because I know you get a lot of them. What's like the classic?
That's actually a great question, but
It's a hard one. There's so many excuses that fishermen have,
I don't. And Glenn, maybe you'll agree with me on this one. I don't know if that's one question, but I think no. Wait,
It's a series of questions.
time me out.
a series.
Time out. Hang on here. Hear me out. What I think it is it's not what the question is. It's that we get a constant amount of questions based off information we've sent out via email on the info sheets.
Yes.
There you go.
And
That's-
so it's the answer is always the same. Go look at your emails. We sent you the info. So the question might be different, but it's all on that info sheet that we emailed out. And,
Yeah.
And
Kind of like
you agree?
Glenn called me today, and I was like, "Yeah, what's the address to Jack's place?" And he's like, "I texted you that." Over the
see what I
weekend."
mean?
was
The answer is always the same. Check your phone.
You did? Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Must be a bass fisherman.
Gee, that's exactly what it is.
bass fishermen don't check their email, apparently, I guess.
No.
Or text messages.
That's even next level there. That's
Yeah,
that's
text
impressively
message,
bad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We got a lot of those.
Yeah.
No, it's remembering past text messages.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, see,
on
you
a
just-
weekend.
You just, the problem is that if they show up on your screen and you get the preview, you kind of know it's there. And if you don't do anything with it, you still have the notification to remind you to go back and look at it. But if you click on it and read it, the notification's gone, then you forget all about it.
I've made that mistake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what combines are for, right?
No, they're
Catch
for,
up on all the
harvesting
old
crops.
texts. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Don't they drive themselves?
The planner
now?
was going to be...
Aren't they self-driving?
The planner was going to be all about catching up on the Bass Galaxy, but I failed at that this year.
I got you. No, all in good time. The good news is we're not deleting any yet.
Good.
So,
Good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. I'm sure mine's the first one to get deleted.
So who picked the schedule this year?
So scheduling is started about October.
It's done by committee, and then it's vetoed later on.
Yeah. So, and what people need, we get a lot of input from you anglers, and we would love to go to any lake we could, but we need to have cell service because to
Be a
have
politician with an answer like
pretty
that.
good. That's pretty good.
because we need to have service for the app to work at its peak, and also to get updates out there via social media. So we always take that into consideration. So we kind of put together kind of a hit list of options. We look at possible venues. The one thing that unfortunately did come out of kind of the whole COVID thing is many of these on the water venues they're wanting to maximize their dock space, bar space on the peak summer days. So that's what, when people are like, well, why are you guys fishing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday? It's like, well, that's when we can get in there.
Smart.
So it's also a little bit less boat traffic for the anglers on the water. That it opens up anglers allowed to fish other things, be with their families.
Right.
So it starts kind of with a hit list of lakes, looking at venues, working with the DNR, seeing, what makes sure we're not conflicting, looking at other tournament organization schedules so we can try and get as many anglers in as possible, ensuring that we don't have conflicts with the high school organizations for boat officials. And then, kind of once you get in a groove a little, we don't like to, beat a dead horse to death and keep going back. But when you go to a lake and it works from a venue, from, a logistics perspective, we do like to go back. So it's a 2-3 year cycle. There's some years where we'll go back to back, then we'll take 2-3 years off and go back. So,
And I'm glad you brought that up, Aaron. And yes, that was a wonderfully political answer, Glenn. And but that's the God's honest truth. The reality of the situation is that when we have an event of this size, you got to check certain boxes off.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the criteria?
Well, I got to have a body of water big enough to fit all you guys.
Sure.
Okay? And because we do split the lakes, it's got to fit, you got to be able to fish both halves, this and that.
Has to have bass in it.
It has to have bass in it. But there's so much more behind the scenes, and actually, that is one of the biggest questions. To go back to what you previously asked about what's one of the most questions you got is why did you pick this lake, or why can't we go to that lake? That's probably the answer to that question right there. And really behind the scenes, there's so much more involved into about where we can go than I think anybody realizes. And I'll throw out lakes to these guys, to Scott, Glenn, Jack, every year, like, hey, let's go there. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, we can't because of this. And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. But there's so much behind the scenes. Trust me when I say this, that we want to go anywhere we possibly can, but there always ends up being reasons. We got to have not only lodging within a reasonable distance for you guys to make your lives easy. That's a big consideration. The body of water is a consideration.
Yeah.
Cell service is a consideration. But to go back to our marshals, I got to get marshals there.
Yes.
And I got to have accommodations for those kids. So, and then there's other things. I got to have a site where I can fit 65 boats at a dock. I got to have enough boat ramps to get you. And I guarantee you there are things that are equally as important as all those I'm not even listing off. But I'm answering two questions now. The previous one, and the number one question is why can't we go to this lake, or why do we always go to that lake? The other answer is there are so many things on the inside internally with us to be able to do the events that we do, that we have to accommodate, that the list is so long I can't even list them all off right now.
It's like a happy medium of, try to mix it up a little bit and not go to the same places over and over and over, same places, other trails, but also be realistic about it. So it's it's almost impossible to do it perfectly, right? But
Yeah.
we do our best, and we know the places that work, so we continue to visit them on a somewhat regular basis. To, again, like Glenn said, not to beat a dead horse, but it's just like that happy medium of realizing where works, but also mixing in some new places. We've seen in the past years with the championship where we, throw in some oddballs, some smaller lakes because we have fewer qualifying boats, obviously. Just different things like that where, again, just mix it up a little bit, but, just because of some of the things we do, we can't go too crazy, So it's...
I can definitely see that with this year's schedule. I mean, it was kind of a very happy medium, but I do like the diversity. I mean, the first event, we're going to the dirty, dirty largemouth capital of Minnesota and South Dakota.
Yep.
Which, I mean, to be honest, this is the first, besides a river, true dirty, dirty water place we're going to. And granted, I haven't been out there this time of year to know if the pondweed's got it cleaner and the algae hasn't bloomed yet.
And
Sure,
what is the
we'd
name of this
like to
place we're
see-
starting at, Teal?
I believe it's nicknamed Pigstone.
His voice quivered a little there before he said it. Big stuff.
And yes,
It's one of those lakes where if you've been to it, you have like these traumatic flashbacks. These just big bass tearing out of the water, and it's a grease hole.
I mean, I love it. This is the preview show for the 2023 tour, and we're starting off at Big Stone Lake in Ortonville. Yeah, June 22nd.
Yep.
Before we get into Big Stone, I do have a question, and this is not an angler
Pigstone.
stating his opinion whatsoever, but was there any pushback due to lack of like smallmouth events this year? Do you get that from guys?
Oh, I'm so sick of you guys in your small.
No,
I'm cool because we're going like schooling largemouth places.
I think
where
it was
can
probably
maybe-
well received.
It
I feel like we've been almost a little smallmouth heavy at times.
I would agree.
so-
Yep, I think majority of our anglers are looking forward to a fresh breath of non-smallmouth dominated venues. It'd be a little bit, it's just different. I mean, you can't do everything in a year. And changing up, change is good.
Yeah. I mean, we've been to Vermilion a fair amount.
Yep.
We've been to Mille Lacs a fair amount. I mean, I think guys, and it just the format throws a interesting wrench into all that, obviously. But I think guys so far are welcoming the smallmouth, and you consider times of the year too. Like Lahamadou. By the time we're there,
It's been confirmed. Aliens from another planet have landed on Earth. Sources say there's been 2 confirmed landing points for these extraterrestrial beings, one being Japan, and also, unexpectedly, in Minnesota at Waypoint Angler Supply, a local tackle shop on Lake Minnetonka. With the ever-expanding universe, it's no surprise that there are other planets out there that also share our love for the sport of bass fishing. And to Earth's surprise, this latest visit came from extraterrestrial fishermen light years away and many innovations ahead when it comes to fishing equipment. Some hypothesize these beings came from the planet of Naboo, matching up with Mayan folklore dating back thousands of years with fishing equipment ahead of their time. It has been confirmed they left things never seen before by an Earth-born bass. Waypoint Angler Supply is the premier space station in the bass galaxy and has tackle that could previously only be found in Japan or the planet of Naboo. The Waypoint ship is full, but we don't know when the astronauts from Naboo will be back. So hurry in to Waypoint Angler Supply today and stock up on that Area 51 Planet of Naboo JDM good before your buddy is whooping that sweet ass of yours. Stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. Use the code GALAXY20 to save 20% on your next tackle binge. Aliens are real. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by just north of Memphis Barbecue. This is World Champion Barbecue. If you smoke meat and you don't like good barbecue, I do not know what to tell you right now besides you need to try some of this stuff. They've got their rub. They've got their sauces right on their website. They've got their famous dry rub, award-winning seasoning that you could put on ribs, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, wings, anything you like to put on the smoker, on the oven, on the grill, any meat you like to cook, you need some of this dry rub seasoning in your life. But don't forget the sauce, because that's award-winning world champion sauce here. No matter what flavor you like, they've got 3 different sauces, and they are all good. You can drink them straight out the bottle. We've got Sweet Christie's for all you sweet-loving barbecue folk. We've got Christie's Mischief for all you spicy bass anglers out there. And then we've got Christie's Gold. And they'll sell all 3 of them in a combo. But you need to go to their website right now. It's jnomemphis.com. That's jnomemphis.com. Dry rub, sauce, barbecue. Let's go!
It's not a smallmouth situation, mostly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but
Well,
it's,
so now that'll be interesting because last year the state tournament was won by,
Kobe Koenig with a mixed bag.
yeah,
but it wasn't day one all smallie.
Might have been,
Yeah,
might have been.
and yeah. So that
true, yeah, yeah.
But that won't be an every fish count thing. But I think day one he had 5 for 20. He had 5 big ones, I think.
Well, I think like Lahamadou and Whitefish this year, to me, what I've learned with the Champions Tour versus, say, fishing 5-fish events out there, not that they're super different, but like that Champions Tour, it really opens up everybody's style of fishing to the point where you can win on Whitefish or Lahamadou on docks, in the slop, in some mid-range, or banging offshore schools with a little sprinkle of smallmouth in both of those lakes. So I really think, everybody should be able to find room and hone in on maybe what their deal's going to be. And it seems to just depend on the weather and the day on, who's going to take it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but getting into Big Stone, what was, so there's been a little bit of hype around the state with the lake and whatnot, but it's cool to see us kind of changing. I think nobody really knows what to expect out of Big Stone. No one really knows.
It's still such a new. I mean, how long have? Well, I'm sure South Dakota Club and Western Minnesota clubs have been fishing tournaments out there forever, keeping
Ron's
it a
been fishing
secret.
up there for a while now.
And they didn't keep it a secret long enough, apparently. But it's only been a few years that big tournaments have been going out there. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Maybe 5
5.
years, something
Let's
like
call
5
it
years.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And it turned in like one big tournament to like 5 maybe.
and the sheer size of that body of water, I don't know how anybody could know what to expect.
right. I mean, I've never been there personally. Haven't been there once.
I found it on a map.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go
But
West.
I mean, I think it, just totally, again, no experience. So I'm just talking of, some chatter I've heard or whatever, but it seems like that time of year potentially could be fairly tough, in terms of how the weed growth is looking. And I mean, it could be pretty choked out and things like that. I mean, it could be fairly tough fishing for all the excitement and the, crazy bags that come out of there and, all the talk about it. So it'll totally be interesting. I can't talk too much to it personally, because again, I don't have experience, but it sounds like it could be a tricky time of year, which I mean, again, I won't be the one fishing in it. So, but it could be kind of interesting in that way,
Right. Well, and there's been guys who've said the lake fish is kind of small. I've heard that a little bit, but to me, that's a little bit more so on the every best 5 scenario.
Sure.
Well, see, that's where I was going with that, is what to expect, is that I hear the same thing, and I'm just like Glenn. I've never, excuse me, I get you two confused all the time. I've known you forever. Yeah. Jack said, I've never been there. I just hear chatter, this and that. Just going back to my just history fishing lakes that aren't really fished a lot yet, is it seems like the initial perceptions are quite a bit that the fish aren't everywhere. But as more and more people fish them, you come to find out. I mean, back in the 90s, fishing this lake right here, I mean, we all thought they were on the south end. And no, they weren't. They're everywhere. They've been living here for 100 years. So I'll be curious to find out with Big Stone if that's the case, that once, because in a 5-fish derby with no lake splits, you get to go where you want to go.
Sure.
Right.
we're going to force you to go everywhere because you don't know where we're going to send you on tournament day. So that is the one thing I'm really excited to find out is my hunch correct that we're going to discover there's some areas that people aren't, necessarily. And I'm not saying there's any. If the fish are everywhere in the lake, this is not a secret to everybody. There's plenty of guys that know it. They're just smart enough to keep their mouths shut. I'm talking about perceptions here. Perceptions are that the fish aren't everywhere. I'm wondering. I'm hopeful and I'm curious to find out if you guys can kill some of those perceptions. Mm-hmm. I could be completely wrong. This is a preview show. We're analyzing and speculating. This is like being a weatherman. I can be wrong
without me
not
talking
get in
too
trouble
much.
for it.
I think it's going to spread out more than people think. To me, it's going to depend how tight some of them early maybe schools.
Well, and of course, what the fish are doing is going to affect that. But
And that to me is all how it's going to lay out is how much they group up.
Sure.
Yep.
That to me is what it's going to boil down to, and that I don't know.
Well, you've been there, so you
in my mind,
are a
if
much
it's
more reliable source of intelligence than any of us sitting here.
In my mind, if it's like August, September, yes, it can fish small, but I think it spreads out if we're talking just needing bites.
Yeah. Well, it's been an interesting year. I mean, no matter what lake you're talking about, it was a late spring. The ice went off late, but now it's been super hot.
Now it's like an early spring.
Yeah. So it's like, did we catch back up? Are we ahead still? Or are we behind still? And it depends on what fishery you're on. I mean, we spent a bunch of time on Minnetonka last week fishing for the Minnetonka Classic, and it's like it was still hard to figure out. I mean, the weed growth looks like the ice just went off in a lot of places.
Right.
But also, like, in my opinion anyway, the largemouth spawn was mostly done. So it's really all over the map. Out here on Mille Lacs right now, it feels like the majority of the fish are spawning. So it's,
I went out on the big lake today, and to me, there was this bed here, a bed there, no cruisers anywhere. Yeah. And so and I'm bringing this up because this is the coolest thing about fishing is perspectives and what you see in different places. We actually got to found 2 hours out of our lives to go fun fishing a little bit today. So Glenn or Jack, I'm talking to you. I did it again.
I went too.
You did. That's true. You were probably on the phone the whole time.
Actually, no, I wasn't too.
I caught a few while he was on the phone.
Yeah.
Well, but where I'm going with this is like your impression in the area, and I know which areas you've been fishing, and it's like the majority have spawned, or they are spawning, and that makes sense. Some of the areas I went to today, I went there purposefully looking for pre-spawn fish, hoping they hadn't spawned yet. And what I saw, I'm like, wow, there's a few up here, but there's no cruisers. I'm thinking I need to go out to 15, 20 feet and find a pile of pre-spawners. Yeah. So that's the really neat thing about fishing is perspectives in different parts. Now, you got to be in a really big body of water to experience that, which we are. But that's the cool thing about it is nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. These are just the perceptions that we've gathered from what we have literally seen, and we were in two totally different parts of the lake. What was the water temp where you were today? Low 60s, mid 60s?
Yeah, I think I saw 66, and then we went out to the mouth. I mean, we were just fishing and walk on here in the bay, basically, and you went out to the mouth of the bay and fished some of the rock stuff, and it was down to, low 60s, 62.
Yeah, the warmest I found today was 59, and I went looking for 52, and I found 54.
It's just crazy because
I went looking for the coldest water I could find on purpose because I wanted to catch fish a certain way. I didn't want to go look at them on a bed. I wanted to catch a big, mean, fat
pre-spawner. We should talk after this about where that was because that sounds better than bed fishing.
The walleyes were in there thick, let me tell you. The bass weren't.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Mille Lacs now, and Mille Lacs is just a giant fishery with zillions of smallmouth, obviously, and this year especially. I fish up here a fair amount in the spring, and the water temperatures and just like the stages of the lake are more variable than I'm almost ever seen. Like
really,
you just had early on where, again, the ice went out 7 days before opening day, a week before opening day, and we had some wild wind that pushed the water around like crazy, and I mean the difference in water temperature, depending on if you're on the east side or the southwest corner or, here in Waukon and Isle area, like it was just drastic. I mean, 10 degrees. And it's a big fishery, so that's not too out of the ordinary, but almost different than I've ever seen on Mille Lacs where, again, I mean, we're in, June 3rd, 4th today, whatever it is, 5th. And to still have some pre-spawn fish, I'm sure there are, is pretty wild with the temperature we've had. I mean, it's been like August weather the last 10 days. But it's hard to warm up a 132,000 acre lake.
Well, the other thing too is I guarantee you the 52 to 54 degree water I found today, the only reason I found it, well, I went looking for it on purpose, but I guarantee you 3 days ago it was probably 65.
Right.
We've had an east wind for 3 days, and that blows the warm water to the other side of the lake, and then the cold water comes up. And that's probably why the only fish up shallow were betters. The cruisers probably left because the water got cold because of the wind. And on big lakes like this, the wind will blow the warm water to different ends of the lake. And you can chase water temperature. The problem is if it's not staying that way for a few days, the fish get really messed up. But I guess that's probably why I found it that cold today. And I went to that area on purpose.
Totally.
Because of that wind direction.
We were just trying to save on gas, so we just
me just gone. Yeah.
No, but I mean the point is it's a little bit all over the map
There's
this
a bass
spring.
boat out there right now. He's dropping the trolling motor.
We'll go yell at him.
Let's open the shades and we can watch him and commentate.
If he hangs his Cinco on the
it might
dock,
be getting to the point where
It might
we
be
can open the
Figgy.
shades.
It actually might be John Figgy.
That'd be cool. Figgy Smalls.
Yeah.
Guest appearance.
but yeah, the point is it's really hard to predict where Big Stone is going to be at, and just in terms of the status of this spring. Like it, and again, it's not a place I'm familiar with, but with this drastic warm up we've had, it feels like the vegetation in a lake like that is going to just explode. It probably already has.
The weird thing to me about that, and I was going to bring this up, is pondweed is a cold water plant.
Yep.
And what I've
Curly leaf
seen on the
pondweed.
lake,
Pickleweed we call it.
curly leaf
Yeah.
pondweed, yeah. And in these
The
dirty
stuff that-
water lakes, it is very dominant.
Early.
Typically early through the end of June, but we haven't seen a warm up like this. And I've been on a few lakes already where that curly leaf is starting to die.
Already.
Already, right? So you think about a lake like Big Stone that has a max depth of 12 to 16 feet,
Heating up quick.
heating up real quick,
Well, that and
like a big
Stone's-
stone.
Yeah.
Big Stone is far enough west that they're in a whole other ecosystem.
So
than
that
we are
curly
here.
leaf, that vegetation, the
Almost-
other thing I
almost-
noticed is it didn't get a chance to grow up.
Sure.
In that window, so it really might
Do the
it
opposite
might
of
be
what
the
we're thinking.
worst choked out, like the least choked out,
Interesting. Yeah.
like anyone's ever seen it in June. So I could be wrong. I'm no biologist, especially in the
it
aquatic
sounds smart.
variety,
That sounds
but,
smart.
That is smart.
You know, that's
That's what I'm bass fisherman.
curious.
He's really
I'm
good at
curious
sounding
about
smart.
that. I'm curious about that.
No, I hear you're totally right. I mean, we see it. You see, I mean, I fish a lot of little ponds around home, and pond leaf dominates those little lakes early. The first month of the season, it's just choked out. You maybe have an inside edge, and that's about it. And then it's gone when it warms up.
Yep.
And if it's so warm so early, is it just never gonna? That's an interesting point.
And we'll be curious, right?
Right,
Because a lot of
totally.
what blows my mind, not to get on this subject, is a lot of places the lake associations will pay to spray the curly leaf in early to mid June, and it just always surprises me
Let's just
because
turn
it's
the-
2
let's
weeks
just
before
turn the forest
stuff's,
into a parking
about
lot.
to
Yeah,
die.
that's fine.
Like
Yeah.
like you don't kill a guy 2 weeks before he's like in hospice about to die. You know, that's like what a lot of places do with the curly leaf. And anyway,
Well-
rant over about that, but.
So we're gonna go in to start predicting anglers. We think we're gonna do good.
Before we do this, do you want to take a quick break?
We'll be right back. So Big Stone, who do you guys who's your like picks for Big Stone? We got a couple of new anglers who are kind of from that region who could be real dangerous, and there's a lot of good
I
anglers,
think
so.
of the newbies, I think the one would probably be in the favorite category for Big Stone, Lyle Held, right? Who's your maybe who you're maybe
that was
who
one
you're,
of the local folks.
maybe who
I
you're
was
mimicking
referring
for the
to.
hair choice right now.
Let's pre-qualify this.
I mean,
though.
he's doing his own deal with that.
Yeah.
Let's pre-qualify this. For all of the new Champions Tour anglers this year, we have a lot. Welcome. We are
Yes.
so happy to have you guys, and I can't wait to meet all of you and get to know you.
Record total
If-
too? 60?
Yeah. Well, we opened it up to 65.
But let me just finish
year.
the statement. If I butcher names, I apologize. Like I said, welcome to the tour. I can't wait to meet every one of you this year. It's going to be great. But if we butcher your names tonight, we're sorry. So, okay, go
Disclaimer.
on. Yes. Disclaimer. That's all.
All
I had
right,
to get
so,
it off my
so
chest.
I think for each event, we each pick a two. Each of us picks two. You pick a newbie and then a vet.
Ooh, 2? That's hard.
Okay.
2.
So for Big Stone, I'm gonna go with Lyle for my rookie.
I'm kind of like the umpire. I'm not allowed to pick favorites.
It doesn't matter.
I think 3. You need a dark
Fine,
horse too.
Fine.
Oh, okay. Dark,
Dark
horse.
horse.
Okay,
I like it.
my
Dark horse.
returner, veteran, Brad Leiferman,
Okay.
power fisherman.
Yep.
And
That's a lake that fits. Yep.
dark horse. Dustin Bufflin.
You're cheating.
I don't have the list, so I'm just
Buffalo.
going to copy
Okay.
you.
He's cheating. He's going through the list.
For newbie, I gotta go Lyle Held. He knows that lake probably
he's from that
inside
area
and
too,
out.
isn't he? Yeah.
For veteran, I'm going with Chase Hall. He
Ooh,
he weighed a
that's a good
sack
one.
out
That's-
there
that's
a
last
good one.
fall,
Yeah.
last fall, and an like 29 something
That's
for 5.
well played, sir.
Yeah.
Well played.
He's obviously spent some time out there, and my dark horse is actually Noah Schultz because he's had some tough events out here.
The
out there.
dark
Love
horse.
He's had some
Can't
tough
be
No
a
one-
dark
no one-
horse.
Here's why. He's had some tough events out there. And when Noah Schultz is mad at a lake,
Yeah.
I say look out.
But isn't
But
the,
my honest pick is Aaron Teal because you have to have confidence in
There it
yourself
comes.
in this
Here it
sport.
comes.
And if you don't believe in yourself as an angler, you should probably just keep it on the
Absolutely.
trailer, bud.
100%.
So
I'm hung up on this
I
dark
picked
horse.
4. I'm sorry, Glenn. I'm breaking
That's
the
fine.
rules.
That's fine.
You can't pick Tom Brady as a dark horse.
I said Noah Schultz.
That's what
Do
I'm
you need
saying.
me to pronounce it?
Noah's kind of the Tom Brady of the tour right now.
I don't disagree.
That disqualifies him from a dark horse status.
Fine. I'm going to go with Noah Schultz for my veteran pick then and Chase Hall for my dark horse. Are you
Love it.
satisfied?
Absolutely
That's
satisfied.
better for
I'm
you?
happy. I'm happy.
I'm going to just cheat the answer and say I feel like Big Stone is probably going to be one of the most unpredictable events we've had in terms of favorites. However you want to look at that. Like,
that's valid.
I mean, again,
Don't disagree.
it's just I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, yeah, some of the guys that have had success in the past, for sure, you can't discount that for sure. But just the time of year and for a lot of guys, you look at I believe I could have this wrong, but you look at like Matt Peters, 2-time Angler of the Year, one of the most established, best performing champions. I don't think he's been to Big Stone. I think I saw
Thompson? No, I
that.
don't.
Matt Peters.
Or Peter? No, he has not.
Right.
Is that one of your picks?
I'm not saying that, but that's just why it's kind of a wild card where almost any other lake, I would throw Matt in there, but he's never been to Big Stone. I'm not saying he's not going to do well because he probably is, but it seems like a very unpredictable event because not everyone's been there. Even the guys that have been there 2-3 times, whatever it may
Different
be.
times a year.
Yep.
Different times a year. It's a weird time of year. It's a weird spring.
Jack's
So
stealing
again,
all
not
my thunder.
not to dodge the question, but I just think it's really unpredictable. I mean, it's a shallow fishery, so you look at guys like John Figge or whomever it may be. But I have no idea.
We're not gonna let you not answer the question. So
Can I go
you've
first?
done some
Okay.
dodging.
Can I
You
go?
Let him
Can I-
go
Jack,
first.
can I
Well,
cut ahead of you?
since he's sitting right over here to my left, I kind of like Dane Veselka in the event.
Dane, have you ever been there before?
I like that pick.
Okay.
okay,
Dane's been there.
he's been there.
Dane's
He's
been there.
He's
He could win out there.
yep.
He
I'm
could win
going Dane.
Is Dane the dark horse favorite or the veteran?
I don't
can
know.
he be a- how much-
I don't know. Is Dane a veteran
you be
yet?
a veteran?
He's a sophomore on the
He's
tour.
fished one time.
He's a
Okay,
sophomore.
he can only be a favorite or a dark horse then. No offense.
I'm going.
He's not a rookie anymore. With all
No,
due
I didn't
respect.
call him a rookie. I just
Okay.
didn't call him a
Just
veteran.
making sure.
Yeah.
I'm going favorite. I'm going.
Got it. Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But again, Glenn cheated with the list, so I don't know about
I'm
I don't know
cheating with
about
Glenn's
the
list.
rookies, but oh man, on the spot. I like the Chase Hall pick. Not that that's not that
didn't mean
that's
to steal
Can we
anybody's.
double pick?
that's a
this?
good one. I'm just
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I
you
just
can
keep
steal
stealing
his Chase
everybody.
Hall
Yeah,
pick.
this isn't like ESPN where like they make this guy pick different guys than this guy. Like, no.
No.
How about okay?
I want to hear Newman's
Here's one
picks.
for you. Here's one for you. So he's not a Champions Tour rookie by any means. He's fished for multiple years, several events, and I don't have any idea if he's been to Big Stone or not. But how about Jason Howland? He's
I like
a
that pick.
shallow
That
water,
is-
dirty. He's from southern Minnesota.
I like
He fishes
it.
like Mankato and some of those slop holes down there.
Yep.
Jason Howland.
I like it.
That's a well played.
I remember that tournament he fished on Mille Lacs. He was greasing on Mille Lacs too. Yeah, he's a greaser.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
That's my guy.
Solid.
I love it.
Yep.
Was that 3 though? I think he only picked 2.
Man,
I thought he said Hull
Hull and Howland
and
and Dane. Duh.
Super Dane.
He's your
My
tournament
bad.
partner.
No, I didn't forget
I
about.
already
Dane.
forgot about you.
There's no way.
All right, my turn. I am going to go with my 3 picks, and this is based purely on everything you said, everything everybody said about the unpredictability of a new body of water, and then you having been there, how the unpredictability of the weeds, this and that. I'm getting the vibe that for everybody in this tournament that's been there, this lake is not going to be like they've ever seen it before. Okay, so what I'm going to do, my 3 picks are all going to be people that have never been there before because they have no memories.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're already worried about the pickleweed.
I'm not worried about it.
Oh,
In
no,
fact,
you're
I'm
worried about
excited that there might not be too much of it.
You could not wait to tell us how worried you were about whether this weed's going to grow up or die off already.
I don't think I used the word worry. I said I think
You
it'll
didn't
be
have to. It was
interesting
written on your
to
face.
see.
You're
he was
nervous.
talking like pH
How that
levels
goes
and
down,
some
like-
biology.
He's already...
It was a hypothesis. It was a scientific method.
I'm telling you, the guy that goes there with no the guys that
I
go
like
there
it. I
with
hear
no
you.
preconceived notions,
I hear you.
them are the ones I want to watch out for.
So who are they?
I don't disagree with
Who
you.
are they?
I don't know. I don't know which of these guys have never been there. Okay, a couple. Well, Matt Peters is one that you brought up. I got to throw him out as a
Never
favorite.
been there. Can break down
I'm
water.
going to
as
throw
good
him
I
out as
mean-
my veteran favorite
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Yep.
because he is definitely a veteran.
For sure.
I am going to say we are going to Pigstone, the land of the giants. I think my favorite, and he has absolutely declared to me that his only goal this year is to win an event. My favorite is Matt Thompson. He's never been there.
He's been there this spring. I know he did.
He's never been there other than going to pre-fish for this tournament. Really, Jack? Come on. Leave me alone.
It's facts.
Matt, why are you... I didn't rip any of your picks. Come on.
Continue.
Thompson's my favorite. I'm thinking... Oh, man, I had several ideas for a dark horse, but I think Jim Moyna.
That's a good one.
And I don't think he deserves to be a dark horse. He should be
No.
my second veteran pick, and I'm not doing a dark horse pick.
Okay.
I almost want to. I almost want to pick 4 because like Ron Mayer spent quite a bit of time out there, and he's dangerous.
See,
out
I can't
there,
pick
so-
him because he's been there before.
He's been there before, so he can't be your pick, but he could be my 4th pick.
It's a good one.
But we're not. You said 3 picks each. Why are you? It's your podcast. You can change the rules.
I'll call one out. If you
what's
want me
the
to call
winning-
one out, I'll call one out. I thought this was every fish counts, but I'll call one out.
It's not every angler
I'll
counts.
call one
apparently.
out.
What's the winning weight?
Oof, that's the hardest. I think predicting an angler is almost easier than that.
I agree. I have no idea. Could be 60 pounds. Could be.
I
You
feel
could
we
win
should-
with 7 fish
So
if you
I
catch
feel-
7 big ones.
I
Like
feel we should document right now the guesses because I think it'll be interesting to
Well,
look back.
isn't
Oh,
that
no,
what?
it's that-
It's
see,
that's
hey,
the
no,
camera.
that's
Glenn,
true.
see, that
That's right.
calculator
Oh,
document
that's
is
true.
right
Yeah.
there.
Documents.
Um,
I'm going with 64 pounds.
72.
110. Wait, do we have an over under?
No.
All right.
83.
Okay.
I think if there's the right post-spawn school that kind of groups up in the summer and a guy could really run away with it, I think
Sure.
Seems like we're tracking.
possible. And
This
I'd love
is-
to see that too. That'd be cool.
This is the hardest event to make any kind of weight predictions.
I agree.
Oh,
Because, like we were talking, as far as large boat tournaments, this lake is fairly new to the scene. And we've never had you guys out there in an every fish format. the guy, you get, Aaron, you've been there, Dane, you've been there, you're fishing for 5 fish, you're looking for the dirty 30. Have you gone looking for babies?
Right.
I mean, and on that, like,
but
babies
I've caught
are,
babies looking for.
but
the
what I'm
dirty
saying is
30
on that, like,
size, I
babies
guess.
are 3 pounders.
Well, that's the question. In that, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, we
Aaron
don't
does.
know.
They know. Do you catch 20 bass? Do you catch 75 bass? I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it depends how people practice the lake.
Okay.
Because what we noticed, and this is a little sneaky
I'm still trying to
trick
decide
for
my lake
anybody.
split. How'd you practice?
But I noticed you picked Matt Peters, and one thing I've noticed about Matt Peters, just when he's come on the podcast, is when he practices, he sticks them. And he's won quite a few events, so I'm not going
Can't argue
to
with
knock
it.
on the guy whatsoever. But it was interesting when Dane and I went there last year. The guy who won the event stuck this many in practice. That's a goose egg. That's 0. And everybody else who stuck fish in practice seemed to struggle to not have things come together the way they had hoped.
You think
So
that's
to
because
speak.
there's just not huge numbers of fish there, or
Well, all of those teams still weighed 15 to 18 pounds. So, like, those 3-pounders might, continue to bite and replenish. But I think those bigger fish that guys caught in practice, none of them were able to duplicate that.
And
It's
that's
just
why we're
Would
doing
you say a
interesting
couple
thing
years
that I
ago?
noticed.
Would you say a couple years ago on Pelican and Ore that happened? Because going into that event, talking to you guys, you were like, it's going to be a hog fest, a slug fest. And yes, there were gigantic fish caught. There was a brand new all-time record for the Champions Tour set. But the way you guys were talking for the numbers of great big giant fish coming in, I don't know if we actually saw the way you guys were talking.
I think there was a little bit of that. For me, it was hard to swallow because I had not done that. But it was very clear that those fish responded to pressure, and I've been there since then.
Yep.
And it's definitely clear that pressure affects bass. Pressure affects bass.
Totally.
We can all agree. I mean, Mille Lacs is another prime example. You can't say Mille Lacs is the same lake as it was
right.
10 years ago. And you've got 60 of the best anglers in the state about to lay the heat on it,
Yep.
before the event. So that to me is what'll be really interesting is how well that lake responds to that kind of talent and that kind of pressure.
I think the big thing, too, to watch for on Big Stone is over the years, it's going to take a few years to see this. And I'm going to equate this to the largemouth fishing on Lake Vermilion, is you take a giant body of water, and Mille Lacs could even be a better example. Giant body of water like Mille Lacs, it has a limited smallmouth population, largemouth population. They're in very key areas of the lake. And 30 years ago, when we go largemouth fishing, I mean, it was 4s and 5s, and usually have one pushing 7. And we're in very small areas. And then when tournaments were going on, and you could only keep two smallmouth in a team tournament over 21 inches, you'd shoot for those, but then you go largemouth fishing. Those fish got moved around the lake. The largemouth fishing in this lake is still phenomenal, but those fish are gone.
It's not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be. Now I understand a 6-pound largemouth in Lake Mille Lacs with this cold water was probably a 25-year-old fish. They die. They don't live forever. So I get that. But the fishing, the groups of largemouth aren't in the spots like they used to be. This and that. I mentioned Lake Vermilion too. Same thing. Back in Silverado days, we had talked about, I purposely went largemouth fishing because I was only fishing for 5 bites. And the biggest largemouth I've ever caught in Minnesota came out of Vermilion. It was pushing 8 pounds.
Wow.
And we'd catch, 5s and 6s, and I'd have 8 fish limits with 3 12-inch smallmouth that were like 24 or 25 pounds. So you had, really big bags of largemouth, but in the years, the places where those big 5-6 pound largemouths live, they're not there anymore. And they got, I think what it is that when you have that scattered population and then they're all being brought somewhere to be weighed in, this isn't a knock on weighing them in. I just think it changes where the fish populations live. Yep. And some of those concentrations get thinned out. Doesn't mean the fish aren't there anymore. Absolutely not. Where I'm going with this is we do not know how prolific that population of fish is spread out through that lake. it's going to take a couple of years to find out, but I am curious if this will be one of those fisheries.
Yep.
Well,
What is it? 27 miles long.
It's
I
big.
believe.
Yeah.
From Ortonville up to the north is 20. I think it's 27 miles.
I think it's a little further than that. It's basically Lake Pepin, a little bigger, maybe a little longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because to me, like one thing that concerned me about previous tournaments there, I mean, you got 30 to 60 boats dragging 5 bass each to Ortonville, right? And dropping them off on one end of the lake. Well, what's cool about this format is it's catch, weigh, release. So one thing that I like is, yeah, there will be some hype, but we're putting all the fish back right where we caught them.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Aaron. And that is a great thing about the catch, weigh, release format is that fish is caught and immediately released right where it was caught. So we're not affecting a population of fish in a body of water like I was describing. Now, also on the other hand, though, I do want to say, there's in the history of bass tournament fishing, there's been studies upon studies about moving fish. Back when I was 15, 16, looking at getting in tournaments, the DNR did a lot of stuff on Lake Minnetonka with weighing fish in. And it was a big concern of moving those fish populations around. Now, I've seen it on a lake like Mille Lacs and Lake Vermilion where I do truly believe it is... I don't want to say the word negatively affected them. It's just changed it.
Altered.
It's altered it. Those big concentrations aren't there, but I know from DNR studies, from a long time ago, they were tagging fish that were caught in a tournament, radio tracking them, released them at the Minnetonka Boat Works in Wayzata Bay, and in a day and a half, they were back in Halsteads. Oh, yeah, some crazy stuff. And BASS and their conservation people have done tons of studies. And we do know that, in weigh-in tournaments, if the fish are treated properly and released properly, throughout history, things are going to even out. But, so I'm not trying to talk negative on that end of it at all. I'm just saying I do know on fisheries where there's certain populations are kind of limited in areas, I know you disrupt the chain by
all the
moving
way back
those
to
fish.
Halsteads,
Oh,
though?
yeah, crazy
That's like a
stuff.
Humminbird
Did they take
precision GPS puck in a
had to-
bass's
They
noggin.
radio tracked them. Oh yeah, no, it was
Like-
crazy sick as to how long it took, how short of amount of time it took that fish to get back to Halsteads.
How do they do that? Like, is it the fact that we're domesticated humans
It's just like
and
in
they're wired
Jaws
in their
when they,
environment and they just know where
Just
to go?
like in Jaws when they tied the beer keg to him with the radio tracker on the shark. Yeah, they did the same thing with a 5-pound bass.
No, I get how to track the bass. I
You
get
just said,
that.
I don't get it.
I don't get how the bass knows where Halstead's Bay is from where the hell
He took
you
an
dropped
Uber.
it.
That bass took an Uber.
I don't
Like,
understand how
there's
the
no-
bass knows where Halstead's Bay is
easy. He
after it
swam
gets
upstream.
dropped. How does it know where it gets dropped?
He swam upstream.
Upstream from Fletcher's?
It's a reservoir.
Wayzata Bay.
Oh, Wayzata Bay.
Lake Minnetonka is a reservoir.
But what if it went north? What if it went to Jennings instead?
Well, then
You
he
know what I
should
mean?
have taken a left
what I mean?
instead of a
It's like,
right at Big
How
Island.
does he know?
Because fish are on a
'Cause he's
whole
like-
nother level.
At
than
Big Island,
fishermen
he
are.
should
He's
have
like,
taken-
I've been waiting before.
At Big Island, he should have taken a left and gone through the Narrows instead of taking a right going through the Arcola.
No, there. I believe it. I mean, there's some wild stuff. I can't think of anything specific, but there's wild studies. I think of some muskie studies that have been where it's just like these fish travel like you would never believe. I mean, they're in one place at one time on a reef, and they're out in the open water 15 miles away the next. It's just wild stuff. Like, so it.
They got
I
fins,
believe it.
they can swim.
They do.
And
So
swim
those
fast.
bass that got released in Ortonville, may have made it to, the top of Big Stone by now.
Absolutely.
What you're saying.
Absolutely. And I'm just talking speculation about around fishing bodies of water. I'm not saying Ortonville has a limited population in certain areas. I've never been there. I don't know this. Mille Lacs and Vermilion, I have witnessed it, that the transporting of the fish disrupts where the concentrations of fish are. Your spots aren't the same as they used to
Totally.
be.
And I think those two lakes
Things are going to even out.
Those two lakes are kind of to the extreme where, like you said,
Totally agree.
the largemouth live in very specific
Yeah.
spots. I mean,
Totally
there's not
agree.
much for largemouth on the north end of Mille Lacs.
No.
They're in the bays down here, and when they get carted all over the place, it's going to change things up for sure, and it did. Let's be honest, but I think Mille Lacs and Vermilion, even to a degree, are the extreme cases of these very isolated populations that get moved around and things happen. But If that's happening at a Big Stone, I feel like it's probably a lesser degree out there. And like you said, not talking bad about five fish weigh-in tournaments. I mean, we all fish them, but there's definitely something to think there in terms of Big Stone. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm honestly like, so we work the events, but we're like fans on shore, right? Like we get to kind of watch everything that's going on and see who's doing well and up and down and all that good stuff. And hopefully there's a lot of other people out there that are doing the same thing. That's the idea. But I'm looking forward to kind of paying attention and watching this one as a fan more than
I would agree.
More than almost any place we've been, because it's just kind of the unknown. There's giant fish. Can you catch numbers?
I'm a little worried about how much boat gas I'm going to burn chasing anglers up and down that river to get the camera with them.
And hopefully you don't find one of those
Depends
big,
how you
big
split
stones.
the lake, Paul. Depends how you split the lake.
As long as there's a fuel stop on the lake, I'm not taking that into consideration. Quit trying to get ideas out of me, Teal.
Oh, it'll be an interesting one. But what's the next one? Whitefish.
Let's talk about our lineup a little bit this year on Anglers. So
we got a lot of new guys.
We got a ton of new. Well, but not only do we have a ton of new guys, but this year for 2023, we upped the tournament field to 60 boats.
65.
We upped it to 60. We ended up at 65
Correct.
with our 10%
right.
overbooking. And that was a big jump for us this year. A lot of reasons going that way. We definitely wanted to have more boats and this and that. Just with marshals and stuff, that's been difficult. And now we finally got enough marshals we can get together for it. But that was a big jump this year, and we filled instantly, which I think is a tremendous compliment to the tour and stuff like that. But I want to say thanks to all the new guys that jumped in. But
I think you should have kept it to 55. I mean, there's no reason Willard should have got in. There's no reason. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we're paying more spots though.
Hey, I'm
Teal.
all about
Come
it.
on, we're paying more spots. And
I'm just
actually, our
kidding.
last spot in the money, you're making money. We're paying over the entry fee.
It's the best payout in the state.
Good.
I mean,
Glad to hear that.
Like
Thank you.
Like that helps a guy really feel good about it at the end of the year. And you don't always have good years, but if
Absolutely,
you have
yeah.
one good event in this tour, it really covers you for the season, which is nice as an angler because not most tournaments don't work that way. So anyway.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, and thank you for that. I guess we're kind of proud of that. That's one thing, we definitely strive to do is that our payout goes deep in the field, but yet the last spot in the money is actually above your entry fee, so you're actually making money. But this year we've got, and as I kind of pre-qualified earlier, we've got a lot of new guys, and I'm really excited to meet them. And I'm excited for them to be here, and I can't wait to get to know them. But there is a list of, we got our same crafty veterans out there and sophomore anglers like Dane. But we've got a big list of new guys, and that to me is really exciting because, some of them I know I've met in the past, seen them, but some other guys I don't know. I've never met them at all, and it's going to be neat to watch those guys.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
we don't know what we're going to get.
I mean, in our position, like that's the key to this thing, right? I mean, that shows there's a future to the Champions Tour. Every single year we see new guys coming into play, and a lot of them are former boat marshals. They're young kids coming out of high school, and they want to fish, which is awesome. So some are other guys that have been around for years, and they want to get involved as well, and that's. I mean, that for us, that's a win. I mean, that's where it's all. If it's the same 50 guys or a little bit less year after year, that's great. But I mean, for the future of this thing, we want to see new guys year after year, and that's what we're seeing these last, especially these last 2 or 3 years. Like a huge influx of guys that are totally new to the tournament scene in terms of with the kind of the core group that. I think a lot of us think of as kind of the bass tournament, Minnesota bass tournament crew. There's high school kids again, and there's other guys that are getting involved in the Champions Tour, and that's a massive win for us for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're excited about it. Whole new group of guys. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch them. I mean, I remember Teal your first year.
You get to watch me squirm.
I love watching you squirm.
Oh, I got yelled at the first event. My bow wasn't in the right spot.
Did I do it?
Oh, I don't know. It was my fault, but yeah,
it totally was your fault.
Yeah, without a doubt. No,
I wouldn't yell at you if it wasn't your fault.
It was an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know, coming from fishing 5 fish tournaments your whole life, coming into something like this. We've talked about this, Neumann.
Well,
like,
I've told you, Aaron. If
you
I'm
could
not
say
yelling
like,
at you,
"Oh,
that-
I got this. Like, I can do that." Like, you should just do one and see how you feel about it, because it's like, compared to a 5 fish tournament, to me, it's like 4 hours of whitewater rafting, and then you get a lunch break, and then you get to go whitewater rafting for like 4 more hours. It's a very intense format, and I've never been more tired, physically exhausted, mentally drained after a day of tournament fishing. But it's so addicting. And I got Glenn's article on the rookies pulled up. I was thinking we could go back in reverse alphabetical order, if you guys are good with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Starting with Jeff Wida. I think he fishes the Prior Lake hook setters. I've heard a lot about him. Those guys respect him, and I think he's had quite a bit of success in that 5 fish specifically, like with the state tournaments and TOCs and whatnot.
I believe in his was he champion on Whitefish? I may have not put there, but I think when state was on Whitefish 2 years ago, I think he was a winner.
He's definitely got a lot of experience.
I know he's experienced and dangerous in
for
that,
sure.
that Prior Lake crew.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're a Tonka or a Prior Lake guy.
Oh,
I know
there's always a battle between the
Hatfield
Prior
and
Lake
McCoy
guys
stuff
and the Tonka
between
guys.
those two towns.
Is that still a thing?
Oh, I don't know if it's like back in your day.
Like back
still
in
a
my
thing.
day, it was
Well,
like,
back in your
was-
day, Prior Lake was good.
That's what I'm saying. There was the Prior Lake guys, and I mean, it was like rival motorcycle gangs. If you were the Prior Lake guys versus the
that
Tonka
was a
guys. Oh,
big
big
thing.
time. Is that still a thing?
Yep.
Love it.
Well, if it is, Weeda's a
Yep.
He's on the Prior Lake
yeah,
team.
he's
right
holding
on.
a Prior
Yeah.
Lake.
He's a
flag.
Laker. He's
Yep.
a Laker.
A Laker.
Prior
Laker.
Laker.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a deadly addition.
Yep.
Then we got Willert, who has competed on the national level. I think he's won some crazy stuff from the co-angler side.
that one will be-
St. Jude. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean that one will be it. I mean, Joel's obviously an excellent tournament fisherman. He's proven himself all over the place. Won some huge events here, locally and nationally.
But had struggled in our format.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, how will he adjust to and I'm sure he'll do fine. Again, he's a great fisherman, but that's a great example.
That's
of
a storyline
of a very well proven tournament angler that is coming into a new format. And
Yep.
how it'll work out, I'm sure he'll do fine.
Yep.
But
it'll be it's an adjustment.
Totally,
If, like, you get your deal going, you get that muscle memory going, you find your groove with the 5 fish thing, and all of a sudden
I say
you're
totally.
whitewater rafting.
I say
It's
totally.
like-
I've never done. It's so fun. I mean, again, we sit on shore and we do our media stuff and updates throughout the day, and I mean, naturally we're sitting there thinking, oh, he should have done this, he should have done that. And it's like, I mean, we all fish a bunch, we fish tournaments, but I've never fished an Every Fish Counts tournament. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I'll be honest. When Kirk Cousin did that check down in the fourth quarter last year, I'm like, what are you
That's
doing?
us.
What are you doing?
Armchair
That's us.
quarterback.
Same thing, right?
That's us.
Same
I
thing.
mean, that's
the guy was wide open.
Yeah, like you said, until you're actually out there, I'm sure it's just. And again, I can't talk to it because I've never fished that format. But it's just funny because we're all just hanging out on shore, trash talking. You guys,
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's terrible, Aaron. You wouldn't believe.
I love it.
What kind of bad stuff Glenn says about you during the tournament?
I
day.
can only
He's
imagine.
like, Teal caught one? Oh, that guy sucks.
You should hear what he says to my
That fish
face.
committed suicide to Teal. There's no way about it. That fish
for
just
sure.
upped and laid
He's
up
like,
on
oh,
its
man,
side.
he
Yeah.
got the dumbest one in the lake.
He's
Finally.
using something other than a Cinco. What?
Yeah. What the hell's wrong with him? Yeah.
No, it's fun.
It's always the quiet ones you got to watch out for.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, for sure. No, I expect
I
nothing
just-
less from him.
I always wonder, like, I mean, to a small degree, again, we've never fished the format, myself, Glenn, or Paul, but it's like
I'm not allowed. I've tried.
We've more or less been a part of more Champions Tour events than anybody.
Right?
We haven't fished any of them, but we've watched them all. We've seen what works, what doesn't, and it's just like, if you got thrown out there, how would you react. I mean, I'm sure you'd spin out. I mean, again, you have more experience than I do because you fished it more. But I've been to every Champions Tour event. I just think about that
You've
sometimes.
seen more
where it's
than
like-
me, technically.
It's interesting how that
Yeah.
experience, in quote, if you want to say it that
Yeah.
way, would correlate when you're actually out there. I'm sure you'd get thrown for a loop once you're actually got a rod in your hand. But it's interesting, and that's the exciting part about the format. In 10,000 foot level, that's the cool part where it's just such a wild card, like such a curveball compared to what all of us are used to for the most part, and it's just, it makes it fun. Like you said, and we're, I mean, again, all of us fish 5-fish weigh-in tournaments throughout the year. Nothing against any of it. We're not against, it's not like versus those weigh-in tournaments. It's another format.
It's a different experience.
It's a different challenge. It's a
It's
different
like going out
experience.
for Italian instead of steak night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a different style. It's a
Tacos.
yeah.
All you can eat buffet. Yeah.
Just
Spaghetti and meatball.
throwing a different variety. And I think it challenges angler. It challenges you as an angler, in your skills and your preparation and pre-fishing. And it's not, against anything else. It's just another route, another strategy. There's so much that goes into it. I'm sure. Again, I keep talking as if I have fished it and I haven't, but it's another option.
You're bringing up a great point, Jack. We haven't done it. You've done it. We've gotten to witness it all. And I had this conversation with you when you first joined the tour. The biggest thing that I've noticed is switching from a 5-fish to try an every fish format. I've watched a lot of new guys to the tour. I don't want to use the word rookies because they are not fishing rookies. And I know you and I've had this conversation. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can go catch 14 inchers all day. And it's like, okay, I know you can. Then let's talk when you come back in at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And they come back in and they're like literally defeated emotionally and physically and just drained. And it's what you're talking about. And I'm taking the fishing out of this as to why they're that way, and I know you can attest for it. Now,
Yes, the waterfalls that and the rapids that like you didn't tell them about.
it's so hard to describe because I have watched so many of you guys because I've never fished one. Scott won't let me. But what I've witnessed, and I don't want to fish one after what I've witnessed, is it's not the fact that I couldn't catch fish. I couldn't figure out how to catch a fish. It's the fact that the night before the tournament, we're going to tell you for 4 hours you can fish over here. You cannot go anywhere else. And you don't know that till the night before. And then I'm going to say you come back in and then you have to go fish over there for 4 hours and you can't go back over there. So you can go pre-fish for as many days as you want. You are not going to know until the night before where you're allowed to go fish and at what time of the day. So therefore, you got to cover all your bases during pre-fishing. So you're not going to know until the night before. Now you got to start making decisions. But when you've got a 15-year-old sitting in the passenger seat with the Real Live Well app. Yeah, Aaron Dane just caught another one. Yeah, Aaron Dane caught another one. Oh, yeah, Noah Schultz caught a 2-pounder. Noah Schultz caught a 2-pounder. Aaron, you haven't caught anything. Noah Schultz caught a 2-pounder. Dane Foselka caught a 4-pounder. Aaron, you still haven't caught anything. Aaron, you are now 27 pounds back, and we're 5 minutes into the tournament. When you've got that going on all day, it's like... I've never experienced it, but I've watched anglers come in at the end of the day just... What the hell happened to me?
I think it's the to me the key again as a viewer is the consistency throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Like that's what buries guys or if things start to go south, spins you out. Like you have to be catching fish all day long consistently.
Jim Moyna said it
when
best.
all of a sudden you don't for a half hour, you're losing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's catching you, everyone's passing you, whatever it may be. but it's your practice and your adjustments throughout the day, whatever it is, you have to figure out how to catch fish every, whatever it is, 10, 15 minutes, the entire day.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time home buyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com. This podcast is brought to you by my brother from another mother, my tournament partner, and the best rod builder north of the equator that still has 20/20 vision, Veselka Fishing and Customs, specializing in custom fishing rods. Your custom rod, the way you want it, because it has to be your rod. However, he has a wide variety to choose from, including his all-new for 2023 custom chicken rod. If you throw the big fluff, the hairy Gary, the rotisserie dissery, the half-ounce Palomalu, the 3/4-ounce rooster biscuit, the lightener looking like D. Snyder, you're going to want to be throwing the Veselka Fishing Chicken Special Big Hair Jig Rod. Mr. Veselka spent a lot of time on this rod, and it has the perfect action to throw, hook, and land those fish that you maybe pulled the bait out from because the rod was too stiff, or had them spit it because your rod didn't have the backbone. Well, the new Chicken Special from Veselka Fishing and Customs has worked to solve both of those issues, along with superior balance and quality components. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. Pick this rod up before it's too late, because up here in the North Country, they about to be schooling.
Whereas, again, in a different format, a 5-fish format or whatever, you might have 20 pounds in the first 45 minutes in your set.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago.
Or if you need one more fish, you feel fine. You got 3 hours left. But in this format, if you're not catching them all day long to a degree, you're losing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm asking, like, if you feel
So
You're not asking.
is
You've
that the
watched it.
it's like whitewater rafting, where you
Yeah.
get some momentum and you're like, I got this 2-paddle thing going, right?
Yep.
And then there's those days where it's like, oh, we got our first left corner. Oh, I lost my paddle. And all of a sudden now you're whitewater rafting without a paddle. And half the field doesn't have a paddle by the second half of whitewater rafting. And that's kind of like, you don't feel like you have time to swim back to your paddle, because you have to then go up current to get it. And
yeah, say if you want to run, and say in the first half, if it's summer and you've got some deeper schools or whatever, you want to run 4 or 5 different waypoints.
Yep.
And whatever order it is, say, the first 2 are okay and the next 2 don't work out, and you don't get a bite on those spots. It's like in a 5-fish in a weigh-in tournament, not a big deal. Like, it's all right. We'll cycle back through, we'll make adjustments, whatever. But that's where you lose your paddle, and it's like, holy.
Well, it's like, okay, you have an hour to check that, right? You have, I think I could check 3 spots offshore, let's say, in an hour. Kyle Schutte could probably check 6 or 7, right?
Well, with about 25 docks in between.
Right. But it's like, are they there? And I just need to figure out the right cricket, the right casting angle.
When do you pull the plug?
Whatever. Because in a 5-fish tournament, we've had plenty of times where we sit there for 20 minutes, and on the 27th minute, you catch a 4-pounder.
Totally worth it.
And then you catch 3 more. Bang, 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 bang.
and it was worth sitting there for 30, 40 minutes or 25 minutes to get that fish. Well, in the Champions Tour,
You're 27 pounds back.
there is a gopher sawing off one half of your paddle like that whole time that you're trying to figure out if there's fish on this spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know about a gopher, but I can see a beaver
Or
over
a
the
beaver,
side just
a
chewing it
muskrat,
apart.
or whatever analogy you like.
my
Hedgehog,
God.
whatever.
Yeah, to me that seems like that would be the most stressful part is like the lulls of the day, which happen all the time in fishing. They happen every day.
You can't let it happen in the tour. though.
Exactly. Like no matter who you are and what body of water you're on, you have lulls throughout a day of fishing, whether you're fun fishing, tournament, whatever,
Yeah.
you hit a few spots in a row that aren't any good. Well, that's like disaster in the Champions Tour.
Yep.
Like that's problematic. And that's where I can see where it really gets in your head and gets you just second, triple, quadruple guessing like what the heck to do.
Oh, it's a mental, it's
I'm
a
sure.
mental mixing bowl. And like in a 5-fish tournament, we've all had that day where you pull up that spot at 1 o'clock after a horrible start to the day, and you blast that school, and your day is completely turned around in 10 minutes. Well, in this format, it don't work that way.
Yep. It's hard to win it in the fourth quarter.
You can't just pull up to it. No, you're going to need more than 5 bites at that point.
Yep.
You're going to need about 25.
Yep.
Totally.
And it's challenging, but should we get back to the
Go back
rookie
to the
line?
list. Back to the
We
list.
derailed. We derailed.
We got a this next one's funny, Glenn, right?
Well,
You can tell me how that.
want-
This is exciting because I think he's just going to bring more awareness to the tour, and he's just kind of a little
I
bit of
know
a
who we're talking
a
about.
little bit of a celebrity, if you will. His name is Sam Sobey. Most people have probably seen him on the YouTubes,
The tube. Yep.
but he has put his hat in the ring. He wants to be the Midwest Milliken, if you will, on the circuit. And he is calling out the top anglers in the game, and he's ready to give it.
Yep.
Ready to prove the YouTube
That
stigma.
I'm sorry,
wrong.
that's my new name for him for the year. It's like,
YouTube?
all right, YouTube, you're
Easy
boat number
YouTube.
10. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, YouTube, don't be late. Yeah. Hey, YouTube, you can't edit your catch. Yeah.
All YouTubes aside, I've fished with Sobey a number of times, and that dude can catch them. So,
Totally. Yeah.
and with his YouTube career, he spends more time on the water
Yes.
than
Absolutely.
most anglers fishing the tour. And
Yeah.
the dude is a sleeper pick, to say the least, this year. And I'm curious to see how dangerous he's going to be year one here.
I'll go kind of along those same lines as the Jason Howland. Sobey is
He's a greaser.
he's a
Yeah,
greaser.
yes.
He's a shallow, dirty
Yep.
lake
It's-
guy. Like
yeah.
I know because I watched it on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch it on the YouTube.
I saw it firsthand.
No, seriously. I mean, Big Stone.
I
That
can't
fits
wait.
his style. Like
I can't wait till the midday break at Big Stone, and this has nothing to do with how well he's doing, whether he's winning or dead last. But I'm gonna go look at the face of YouTube when he comes in. I can't wait.
Well, I
He'll-
guarantee.
actually,
it,
all
I
of them,
guarantee
just-
it. No
yeah.
matter what, it's pumped because
It's smiling.
I don't know
Yeah.
Sam super well, but the guy just seems
Yep.
like he is.
He's got the right attitude.
He's got the right attitude. He's always positive. He's excited to be fishing, which is awesome. Like I don't care. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. But
Like-
every
Paul wants to
new,
make him squirm.
I
does.
want to
That's
make
his goal.
everybody
Yeah, look at
squirm.
him.
I
Look at
don't
him.
single anybody out. I am equal opportunity for squirming, and everybody, I love watching their faces when they come in. That is like one of my favorite times of the tournament is when I'm checking boats in at the midday break and at the end of the day is just looking at the faces.
Yep.
I know this went well. I know that didn't. I think I did okay, but I don't know what the hell just happened. It's just I enjoy that part of the sport and enjoy that part of our game. It's really fun, and I like to tease it. I like to make you guys squirm. You know what the game is. You know what the rules are. You know what we're gonna do to you. None of us are doing anything to make you squirm. That's the name of the game. And you know that getting into it. It's just I do enjoy watching the dynamic of the competitors
Yep.
and watching what's going through their mind because I don't get to do it. So I try to live vicariously through you guys, if you know what I mean. But you know, it's a lot of fun, and
we're pumped to have Sobe on. I mean, obviously, like let's be honest. I mean that increases our footprint. Like it totally does.
Yep.
I mean, he's done an incredible job with his platform and what he's done on YouTube.
Will you ask him what YouTube is for me?
Okay, yeah, he'll fill you. Yeah,
I'm too old for that.
But yeah, no, it'll be exciting to have him on board. And man, what was it like? First or second year, he was actually a part of the Champions Tour.
Oh, for Pro-Am on Gull, right?
He did photos for us.
Oh, no, that's right. Yes.
He was part of the media crew.
Yes.
For an event or two.
That's
up
right.
on Whitefish.
Gull.
So it is possible to leave the tour and
it was
come back as
Waska.
an angler? I'm asking for a friend.
It's possible.
It is possible that you can leave the tour and come back
proof
as
of
an
it.
angler. It is. I'm asking for
Unless
a
you're
friend.
the
He was-
tournament director.
It
He
depends
was
on your.
on. We'll say he was on the staff, and he's now an angler.
It depends on how your exit
you're
interview.
saying I gotta
After
change-
the,
It depends
if you
on how
get
your
fired,
exit
it's
interview
allowed.
goes.
No, you can't fire a volunteer. So that's the one thing I got going against me.
I have a question,
So-
Glenn. Sobe has the funniest angler bio that I've seen, and I know you were responsible for collecting those.
gave me
How
a
did
lot-
that go down?
He gave me most of that. I just kind of gelled it together.
You
Paraphrase it.
wrote as fast as you could.
Should we recite this?
Yeah.
Sam, or Sobe, to his large YouTube fan base, was the UW Stevens Point College Bass Team AOI, was BASS and FLW College National Championship qualifier, and competed in the Bassmaster Opens as a co-angler. Quote, I'm ready to show Noah Schultz there's a new sheriff in town. All jokes aside, I'm going to be a sponge on and off the water during this Champions Tour season. The opportunity, blah, 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 blah.
No.
I just like that he,
No.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's
He
a
called him
greaser
out.
move.
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
It's great.
that's like a Happy Gilmore Shooter McGavin like night before the tournament. Like,
Happy learned how to putt.
yeah. That's some Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby. I'm coming for you tomorrow.
I love it.
Type
Yeah.
of language.
Yeah.
So I like his attitude
Yeah.
going into
No,
the year.
it'll be good.
Next,
We can work with this too. We can stir this one up a little bit. I'm thinking.
I'd stir
Stir
him.
the pot.
I'd stir him the hell up.
Has anybody
Yeah.
talked to Noah? Because you know he's read that.
I'm waiting for Noah's diss track.
Noah's reply.
Yes. What?
Yeah, let's hear Noah's diss track.
Can
It
we?
was.
Can we read it?
Can we paraphrase, or do we need to get
No,
a live quote from him?
I could paraphrase it for now, but we can. I'm sure Noah will be on at some point.
He
I
just
think
sent him a picture of his parking lot of skeeters that he has.
it was.
God, I hope
I
he
think
did.
One picture of his garage and it was over.
I think
All
it was something
skeeters.
along the lines that Sobe's going to have to handle the deputy badge. He's not
like
giving
that.
up the
That's not
sheriff.
bad.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it was. I think that's what it was. He said Sobe can be my deputy.
You should have just
Sent Sobe pictures of his Happy Gilmore check. Sorry, I couldn't fit all these
Yeah.
in one picture.
I'm building a house for my kids out of giant checks.
Look at this big camper
Sobe,
I
I need
got.
Sobe, I need you to come wash all of my skeeters that I've won.
Ooh,
They need polish. That's awesome. No, that's so cool. Sobe went after him, and obviously it's in just great fun.
Oh, yeah.
All in good fun.
And
Yeah. Sobe knows Noah's going
That's
to
awesome.
stomp him. I'm
That's
just kidding.
awesome. Did you just call him Sobe No Show?
Yeah, it kind of turned into that. It was like a Peter Pepper picked a pickle pepper situation.
All right, YouTube No Show.
Want to
That's
show
what
Mike
we're gonna call
pronounce
him. All
things.
right.
That was good.
Pronunciation. That's good.
See, now I got some dirt. So when I see Sobe, hey, you know what Teal was saying about you?
Hey, if you run out, just let me know.
right.
Just let me know. Call me the Dirt Man.
All right.
All right. So next up, we got Chad Schwann. I know he's running, I believe, a Vexus. That's how I know him, is just through Intune Marine. But
Sure.
he's a 2022 TBF National Championship qualifier.
Oh, boy.
So to me, that's an impressive feat, and it should be cool to see
Yep.
Chad on the tour. And
He's one that I don't know and haven't heard of yet.
I'll be honest. I mean, it's anybody's game out there, and I guess I'm 10 other boats on the lake's going to be challenging. Aiden Portel is the next rookie. With the Every Fish Counts format, all of the little fish I normally catch will help me. Hell of an
good
attitude. Hell of an attitude. And with an attitude like that, he might just Tommy Parker one next year.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, And then we got Jake Panici. He was the 2021 high school state champion, 2022 Bass All-State Angler, and 2022 high school Bass and MLF National Qualifier.
And a former boat official.
So we got a young gun on our hands.
Hey, former
I
boat
get it.
official. That's awesome.
Yep.
No
Yep.
kidding. Okay, so he's got some martial
I believe
experience.
2 years at least, I think, if not 3.
There's gotta be. I'm just guessing, but there's gotta be 10.
I was
former
to say we're
boat
probably
officials.
I think we're probably about 10 now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good handful last
Yep.
year, and there's even a few more. I
Yep.
bet we have 10 former boat officials that are now anglers.
Yep.
I'll be honest, like being a boat official for this format, you almost have as much preparation
Right.
as
Yeah,
an
oh,
experienced
100%.
fly fish angler
Yeah. Yes.
who's maybe never fished
Yep,
the format.
100%.
Yeah.
So to me, some of these young guns coming up, I mean, we've seen it ourselves with some of these young guys. You know, they come up and it's like, where'd you come from?
Yep.
Tommy Parker or
Right?
you know,
No,
Hunter Wentz?
He was
like,
a former
yeah,
boat official,
these
right?
guys are.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much high school fishing's changed from
Oh.
like when I was a kid. We had the Junior Bassmasters. You had like
Right.
50 high schoolers in the whole state show up.
Yeah.
There were
was
100
no,
for
no school teams,
a
no
state
none.
tournament.
no,
And now
but-
you've got, you know, you got 50 boats from each school in just each region. You got conferences for this stuff. Do we have double A, triple A, and single A yet? Or I mean,
Not
it's
quite
gotta
yet.
be
We're
all
getting
in-
there.
all in good time.
Yes.
Right now, I'm checking to see if my eligibility is expired on going back to high school to fish tournaments.
This is not Billy Madison.
Hey, dude, if there's any way I can get back in the game, that's where the place to go, dude.
All I know is if pee in your pants is cool, can fit a me Miles Davis.
Oh, I love it. But no, that's really where the sport's changing is these kids are getting to learn and watch. And when they hit the water,
They're ready.
they're leagues ahead of where most of us were at
Yep.
their age. Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch out for them the day they hit the pond.
Dude, they're lined up. The next one, Brian Linder, another young angler, another young shtick.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Walker Krampitz.
I believe he would also. I would put him in as
That is a
a
young
dark
angler.
horse for Big Stone.
Really?
He's another Noah Shaw. It's a Wazeeka area guy, so another sewage lake fisher.
Sewage Lake. Wow.
Well, that
He fishes
green-
sewers just like Noah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's the Sobyville. That's the
Yeah,
Noahville.
yep.
That's the southern Minnesota.
Yep.
Big Stone fish. I mean, yeah.
It's
Anybody?
kind of harsh, though, that they fish sewers. Come
Oh.
on.
Hey. Bass is a bass is a bass, Paul. Bass is
all
a
get to
bass is a
fish the
bass.
Jim
I believe
Clearwater
Noah
up here.
won a boat right out here on this
Yeah.
This
zebra
sewer
mussel infested
Yeah.
sewer.
This
out
is
right.
not a sewer.
That's what I meant. That's my point.
is an ultra filtered.
It's ultra filtered.
It's a filtered gem.
It's filtered by clams.
Nobody's following me. I'm mad that you're calling lakes in our beautiful state
fine.
sewers, not the anglers.
Pea soup.
If I knew you were calling the anglers sewers, I'd probably, Noah, yeah, he's a sewer. Yeah, come on.
They're radioactive bass holes, Glenn.
There we go.
To be politically correct. You're running for office in 2 years. I expect better out of
Sorry.
you.
Yes, I'll work on that.
Then we got Garrett Coster,
New.
dark horse, brand new. I think they call those Mustangs, right?
There you go.
That'd be a right. Dane could probably weigh in on this better, but to me, he's an unbroken horse, so to speak.
Sure.
Then we've
Oh, deal. An unbroken horse. Did we call Dane the
your
broken
wife's
horse?
a horse trainer.
Dane, if you were a horse, you'd be one of the ones at the Kentucky Derby that had to get put down. Not a Clydesdale. Wow.
If you were a horse, Dane, I would call you Seabiscuit. That's what we nicknamed his wife when we first met her.
Wow.
It was her nickname for probably a year.
Did she know this?
Yeah, I
And
think
she's
I
still
called it to her.
married?
I think I said it to her face
That's why she married him.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Next
All right.
up,
Next
we've
up.
got Heath Iaccarella.
Icarella.
Newman could talk to this one.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you know
This
this
is
guy. You know
Oh
this
yeah,
guy?
I've known Heath forever. Yeah, good friend. Yeah, he's kind of took retirement for a while, but an old Silverado angler. But he's been around forever. He's fished everything. But he's just getting back into the game again, and he's going to be a big one to keep your eye on for sure. Yeah.
We were just talking about the young calves. I would say this guy is more like the old bull.
He's the old bull that got put out to pasture, and now he's getting back in the game. So he's going to have to knock, I bet you, he's knock a little bit of rust off, and but watch out for him. He knows what he's doing.
Got the experience.
He's got the experience. He's probably fished Big Stone forever. He probably fished Big Stone before anybody knew there was a bass in it, for all I know. I'm not saying he has, but it wouldn't surprise me. Heath knows his way around. He's going to do just fine.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. He belongs here.
We got Matt Holwig next. And for all the anglers that we maybe don't know the best, I'm really looking forward to getting to meet you guys this year. And
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, this is a new format, and it's anybody's game. But Matt Holwig, new rookie on the scene. And then next we got Lyle Held.
Who we've already talked about, yeah.
We have already talked about him. I mean, with all due respect, he did catch, I think he does hold the South Dakota state record smallmouth, or did that get broken?
It was broken, I think, last
He's from South
year.
Dakota, am I correct?
Either way,
Correct.
he was the
He
South
was,
Dakota
yes.
state record holder, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
7 pounds, 3 ounces.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
And he's with him and Casey. I think they do the Bass Brawl Outdoors thing, and
Yep.
Okay.
those guys spend a lot of time on the water. They're kind of your Western Minnesota, local gem, so to speak, and know pretty much anything west of, pretty well. And Lyle's obviously proven,
Sewers. Would you call those sewers?
for the most part. But South Dakota lakes, I mean, those lakes
Well,
are a
I
little bit
believe-
cleaner sewers, and they do a great job managing them.
I believe him and our other Champions Tour angler. I don't know if he's doing it this year, but Connor
back.
O'Connor.
Yep.
They held the Sturgeon Bay Open lead on day one with
Yeah.
him.
They
Dirty
led after
30.
day one.
Yep.
Yeah, they're dirty
30.
30.
So he
Saturday.
can catch him in
Yep.
the clear water.
Oh, yeah.
No,
So-
Lyle's a smallmouth whisperer,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yep.
That's his jam. So I guess I'm glad there's not more smallmouth.
Yeah.
on
No,
the
he'll
circuit this year.
he'll do just fine. Would be my prediction.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we got a BFLer. We got Corey Hassler. Glenn, you fish against Corey on the BFLs at all?
Apparently, yeah. I've never met him, but yeah, he's had some good finishes there. So
Yeah, 12 top 10s, 2 second place finishes, and I mean, obviously the BFLs are a stout crew, so another stout angler on the tour this year. And then next we got Mark Fishburne, new rookie. Looks like he's a high school boat captain a little bit,
Yeah.
and has been around the block on the water a little bit. Welcome, Mark.
I feel like we're welcome to bingo tonight. Yeah.
You want to sprinkle in some
I'm just-
Sudoku?
I just wait. I feel I just had a moment there where I felt like I was at bingo.
Well, maybe if you guys would get to know your anglers a little bit better.
Hey, we do, and we're going to.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Just kidding. Jason Dudek, I know that name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Tonka guy.
I think
Used
Jason
to fish Silverados, I think.
Jason may have fished an Open.
He's
or
fished
two.
the the Open on Gull.
So he has a little bit of Champions Tour
Yes.
experience in,
Yep.
in the format.
Yep.
Obviously, I think he's a very established Minnesota tournament. He's fished a bunch of stuff, done well, and regular 5-fish derbies. But he's got some Champions Tour experience.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's gotta help him for sure, and he knows his way around our fisheries. So.
Yep.
Can't say I know him, but he seems like a really nice guy. And next we got Tyler Darrow.
Tyler, man, I'm telling you, I'm excited to see how he does this year, because I don't think I've ever talked to anybody more waiting to find out when the waiting list was going to open up. He's excited. Yeah. I'm excited for him, but it was fun to watch. It was about once a week. Is it open yet? I'll let you know. Yeah, he was first one in for sure on the waiting list. Yeah, he's excited, and that's cool. It's just awesome.
Respect the passion. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, yes.
Looks like he fishes Fabiano's club, so there's plenty of passion there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then Evan Blakely to round things out.
That's right. We went last to first.
Yep. I was waiting for an Evan.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
So how many new anglers is that? 1,
You didn't
2,
count?
I think it
3,
sums up at the top. I'll save you the time. 17.
17 new
17.
anglers.
So now with that though, we have returning anglers who have been gone a year or two. You have Chad Smith,
Yep.
Connor.
Connor O'Connor,
Oh, I was going to say Chad's not a rookie, I suppose.
Andy Rebar.
Yep.
Yep.
Rebar's fished before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I was
Rookies that aren't
missing
rookies.
some names.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that makes sense if they fished before.
Bob Scheel is returning again.
Yep. Bob Schill.
Tim Olsby, he didn't fish last year. I
Yes,
don't
he
think-
did.
He did fish
Yep.
last year.
Yep.
I think that's it. So that's another.
Handful of guys.
Yeah. So I mean.
Oh, wait. Schroeder.
Oh, Tim Schroeder.
Timmy Schroeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Timmy's back.
Previous record holder.
Yeah,
he still
previous-
has the
yes.
tattoo.
That's epic.
Yeah, we need to check with Rass if he got his record tattooed.
I mean, that seems like the thing to do.
Well, he holds it now, so
What is that? 200?
why are you putting
That's
going to
be tough to beat.
256
It's
or
over
is it
200.
264?
It's over 200.
His-
It's a bunch.
I don't think that's beatable, to be honest.
I would agree.
Where are you going to beat that?
Before he did it, everybody thought the same thing about Tim's record.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, where are we going to beat that?
I don't know.
Right
Stone.
right behind you here,
Big
maybe
Stone?
on the right day.
We could, yeah.
On the if it's media day tournament
mean-
starts tomorrow.
Do the math. I mean, you're on the right day on Mille Lacs and you catch 34 pounders and bigger, and I mean, that's the only place I could think of where you could do it.
34 pounders is 120.
Ah,
But I'm just saying that's a
Yeah, that's just in the first half.
and you've also
yeah,
got.
yeah.
That's just the first half.
Yeah.
Cheapers.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. How ridiculous that.
Yeah.
No,
To
his
me, that stat is just
the current Adam Rasmussen's current record is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will never say that is unbeatable.
No.
I don't care how ridiculous that record is. I will never say it because I guarantee you we're all saying the same thing about Tim's record.
I won't say never, but
You were threatening it.
very
You were pretty
hard,
much
very
resided.
very
that,
difficult.
You were
to
pretty
beat.
much resided to the fact it won't be broken.
I guarantee it won't be broken this year. That's my.
I won't guarantee you that.
I'll guarantee it.
Shit, I think somebody on Media Day can break that record tomorrow.
That doesn't count.
if that counts.
Glenn, fire up an event. We'll have a separate category if they break it tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
No,
I don't
that's a
think.
crazy number. I mean, that was just like the day of all days in
Yeah.
terms of number of fish. with
Got one.
I mean, what were they all like 2.5 to 4.5 pounds, just one after another? I mean,
I'm curious how.
I mean, he caught a lot of like 2 to 3s, right? Like,
Oh, and actually, the second half of the day, they were all like 2.5 pounders,
right.
but it was
they weren't like pelican freaks. It was just
no,
quality,
they weren't.
Quality,
in fact, you know, in running the camera boat or running the cameraman around, we did not get on to Adam until later in the first half. And all the big fish were done. I watched him catch
Right.
3 pounders,
Right.
2 to 3 pounders all day, but it was literally, he was just sitting there spot locked and he'd just take the Ned rig and just go, got one, reel it in, throw it back, got one. I mean, literally, it was just a silly little rock pile in the middle of the grass that had like every fish in the lake on it. And it was just doink, doink,
the
doink.
perfect Champions Tour storm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
100%.
was dumb. It was just dumb. And
Let's jump back to the schedule.
yeah, absolutely.
year.
Yeah,
We talked Big Stone.
big stuff.
Lahamadou's after that.
Whitefish.
Whitefish. is
Whitefish.
after that.
Whitefish is next.
July.
July,
Whitefish in July.
later July.
Wild card.
You already
Wild
told
card.
me. No, you did not tell me. You told me in the pro-am the day after you could go after all smallmouth. Will you go after smallmouth on Champions Tour Day?
I will give myself that option. But I can't tell you yet if
that
I
is
will
a
do that or
non-answer
not.
answer.
I'm answering your question as honestly as I honestly can right now.
Well, you need to be honest with yourself and be a little more definitive in your life choices.
I will practice smallmouth, and if the smallmouth tell me I should fish them in the Champions Tour, I will fish smallmouth. in the
You're starting
Champions
to
Tour.
sound like, are you running for office?
I'm just trying to answer your question as
Getting
best I
very
can.
non-political, apolitical, whatever you want to call it.
If you want me to answer it more non-politically, I'm happy to.
I have noticed a change in you, Aaron, and I'm very proud of you on this. When I first started to get to know you, I'd bring up a lake, and you'd be, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go do this there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that there. Oh yeah, we're just gonna go do that, and we'll get them." Yep. I'm really impressed at how far along you've come, because now you're like, I don't have any idea what I'm gonna do there. I don't know what it's gonna be like when I'm gonna get there, but I'm not gonna say I don't have any clue. But I'm also not going to be arrogant and overly cocky and say, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it here, here, and here. Now you're just riding the line. I love it. I'm proud of you for that.
You know, if you're not learning, you're dying.
Yeah.
And I try to always keep learning.
I'm
I'm
complimenting
a
you to that.
fisherman. As soon as you think you have it all figured out, it changes on you.
I am complimenting you for you're growing as an individual. I'm complimenting you for that.
Paul, thank you so much. I'm bluffing. I'm blushing right now. I'm blushing.
Blushing or bluffing?
One of the two.
Both.
Got to keep mystery in the game.
Yep.
And Lahamadou, I think, is a mystery, just like Whitefish, which is what we were talking about, is Whitefish.
Nice
But,
recovery.
Nice.
good recovery.
Good job.
Whitefish, how many Champs Tour events total have been on Whitefish? I know one.
Two or three. We had an open there
Open.
that qualified a few anglers to then fish the
tour.
the regular tour.
And then Peters won.
Peters won.
And
I think just two then. We had an open and a norm and a regular.
Were we there last year? Or was it 2 years ago when Peters won?
so we were there one
was
more
2
year,
years
but maybe
ago.
not.
Yep. Nope, that sounds about right.
We might be forgetting one, but who won the open?
Arnold Helgerson.
He did. You're right.
Yep.
So we've got Arnold and we've got Peters that have for sure won the two. There might be another one we're forgetting, but both were a
Capra?
little. He won Lahamadou. He won the championship on
Dean
Lahamadou.
won the
He had
championship
second
on Lahamadou.
Whitefish.
You're right.
Yep.
My veteran pick for Whitefish is Dean.
I was going to say the same.
he
I mean,
left-
he's
Oh, sure.
He-
Just jump in front of everybody, Glenn, and pick the easiest
He went
apple
last.
off
but
the tree.
no, but
Or wait, no,
he left. I think a lot on the water that day. I think
my pick. My what did we call him? Veteran.
Veteran.
So we got a
Favorite-
veteran,
favorite
a rookie,
pick.
and a dark horse.
Never mind.
No, a veteran favorite and a dark horse. Let's stick. I like the rookie pick,
yeah.
but we need to stick to our theme we
It was
did
a
on the
veteran
first one.
rookie dark horse.
No, we did veteran favorite. We had a favorite veteran, a favorite, and a dark horse.
See, there wasn't official rules printed, so we each have a very close perception
Sure.
Glenn, you didn't print the rules
I didn't.
again? Come on.
Yeah.
of this.
All right, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's your show.
3 picks.
It's your show.
3 picks. Glenn picked one. Jack picked one.
Who
Right?
did you
Or-
pick? He started to pick, and we started to yell at
Well,
about the rules of
Yeah,
picking.
that's how that
I agreed with the Dean pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I've done so far.
Glenn, you want to finish up your
someone
other
else.
2 while he's thinking?
I will do. Yeah, Dean. I think rookie Jake Panici and Hunter went.
I'm going to jump in, and I don't know what category you put this guy in, but if it's veteran favorite, whatever we said, but I'm going to say breakthrough for Jacob Novak.
That's a great
He's
pick.
been very steady.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young dude, but he's got a ton of experience on the Champions Tour. He's fished a lot of our events for
Yep.
3-4 years, at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Probably now.
I believe he spends a lot of time on Whitefish, if I
Yep.
remember correctly. He did pretty well the last time we
I
were up
believe so.
there.
Yeah.
I feel like Jacob's just knocking on the door.
Yep.
Jacob's on the cusp.
He's
Yep.
about to win
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And
Couldn't agree more.
it's going to be Whitefish. That's my
There
pick.
you go.
All right. My turn? Or you want to see what I'm going to pick before you go?
No, I have my
Quit
picks.
pulling on my cord, Glenn. Come on.
not me.
I have my picks.
Oh. Hunter Went is definitely in there. I had somebody else in mind, and now I just am drawing a blank. I am not showing any favoritism to the host of the show or the people in the room, but I know about Aaron Teal's prolific history on Whitefish. And I remember watching him last year on Gull Lake, which is very similar, and he was on the cusp of getting it done there. So I do want to pick Aaron Teal for Whitefish.
Never thought I'd blush twice in one show.
And I am not showing favoritism whatsoever.
Fantastic pick.
Yeah.
Great pick. Hell of a pick.
And I think I'm just going to leave it at 2 for Whitefish just because, yeah, I don't, I've got Aaron blushing, and I don't want to interrupt that.
Is it warm in here?
Yeah, exactly. No, but in all honesty, Aaron, yes, I'm definitely putting you up there on that one.
Appreciate that. I'm ready to go for. I'm
I think
excited
you're ready.
for that
I
one.
think it's time.
I learned a lot the first one down there, and I'm excited to go into that one with an open mind.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
You got to throw. I'm jumping all over the place. You got to throw Arnold in there. He's won there before. He's Mr. Dock Fisherman.
Yep.
He's
Yeah, Arnold's got to be there.
If it's sunny and calm,
Yeah.
Arnie's gonna catch him.
Yep.
going to catch him off docks. I mean, he's
Absolutely.
super good at that. He's got it done on Whitefish before.
Yep.
He's up there.
Well, I was just really having a tough debate between Arnie and a guy, but you mentioning Arnie, I'm good with that. So Arnie's an overall pick from, I think, the 4 of us, which allows me to say that John Figgy, to me, this one is a dangerous event for him because Whitefish is a wild card and Figgy's ready to do anything, and he knows that lake really.
I'm saving him
really,
for my Lahamadou
really
picks.
good. If he meets a Russian night before the tournament, look out, ladies and gentlemen. Look out. You're done for. Leave the boat on the trailer. If Figgy meets a Russian night before the tournament, it's over.
Yep.
Anyway.
We're not touching that anymore.
So Figgy is my first pick. We'll leave it at that.
For Whitefish, though.
Yes, he would be my favorite, so to speak. I had another one queued up. Give me a minute. I really like the Novak pick. Well played. I'm gonna go with Aaron Teal as well. I got to. If you're not willing to bet on yourself,
I think you've
leave
done
the
that.
boat on the
I
trailer.
think you've done
Gutsy
that both
move.
times now.
If Aaron
That's
doesn't,
a gutsy move.
get it done at Big Stone, I think Whitefish is his event. So,
Gutsy move, gutsy move.
Ballsy, I know.
All right, we're 2 events into the year. Aaron's leading AOY.
Yeah.
He's won $24,000.
Didn't we say that in this pick'em segment, you can't pick that if you pick 3 guys for the first event, you can't pick them for the next event?
No.
We didn't say that? That wasn't in the rule? We didn't do rules?
No.
We're doing rules next year.
Okay.
Chad Smith would be my rookie
It's a good
pick,
one.
even though he's not a rookie.
It's a good
I
one.
think-
That Chad's not a rookie.
No,
He's a good deep water, clear water angler.
it's a good wake surf lake. A lot of wake surf
That's
boats. He's
true.
kind of got the wake
That-
surf
yeah,
hair
good.
going
Okay.
on. I
Yep.
think he's ready to
Yep.
go for that one. Might be extra dialed. you
Yep.
know.
All right.
Yep.
So that
I
takes
like
us to Lahamadou.
Well, no, wait a minute. Pro-Am.
Okay.
Yeah, my
Pro-Am.
picks are different for
Pro-Am,
that,
let's
for
just
sure.
go
That's why we
One
got to
pick.
throw it out there.
Pro-Am, Connor O'Connor. With 7 smallmouth.
7 fish limit, Connor.
7 smallmouth, Connor O'Connor.
If Aaron Teal doesn't get it done on Big Stone or Whitefish number 1, I'm going to go with a mixed bag Aaron Teal in the Pro-Am.
Nice.
If you can't bet on yourself, leave the boat on the trailer.
Nice.
I'm taking Dean Capra.
Okay.
I like that pick. That's a good
My
one.
dark horse is Mike Anselmo.
You're fishing? I'm in. Oh, my pick changed. Okay. Bagley for the win.
Nice.
Yes. Good call. Yeah. No, 8-7 fish on the fish. Dino.
So you got, who's your pick for the Pro-Am?
I said Connor O'Connor.
O'Connor, Teal, Capra.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who you got?
I'll go. I'll go Jeff Bossart.
Ooh,
That's a yeah.
He
That's
I just talked to him the other day.
That is
I'll
a
just talk to him
naughty
the other
little
it
day.
is a naughty little.
Yeah.
He's fishing the Pro-Am. That's his only Champions Tour event of the year, as far as I believe.
Oh, and he's gonna be really hungry
so
too.
he'll be hungry. He knows whitefish.
And I think he was second or third in the pro. In
I'm
the
going
open.
Jeff Boshart.
That's a naughty little pick there.
Okay.
Big time.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
End of August now.
Do we
End
want
of
to
August,
take a break
Lahamadou.
and let's wrap up Lahamadou and then go right into the championship?
We
Are you
don't know
saying
where-
break then Lahamadou or Lahamadou then break?
Break then Lahamadou.
We'll be right back.
That's what I was looking for. Back from break.
Lahamadou is Ojibwe for the good land.
Thought that was Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, that's Milwaukee. My
Yes.
bad. Shoot. Dang it. Oh, so close. But Lahamadou to me is another wild card, dark horse. Just they're all like you never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of fishing. It's not like basketball where
Yeah.
you know LeBron's going to put up 22 points tonight at least, and,
Unless
you
it's
know
the
maybe
championship.
25. Like no, it's not how fishing works.
No.
It's not how fishing works.
Lahamadou is one of these. I
It's
should
a
say
chain,
these.
like whitefish. It's very whitefish like, but not.
We're starting to see something going on in Minnesota right now. Gull Lake is a perfect example. Whitefish is right there with it. Lahamadou is definitely coming on that way. These are all lakes that 25 years ago when I was fishing tournaments, that 8 fish limit, if you had 18 pounds, you were getting a check. Lakes are changing in a good way. Gull Lake has never fished as good as it is fishing right now. Whitefish chain is fishing. Don't even count the smallmouth aspect of whitefish. The largemouth and whitefish are going nuts. Lahamadou is coming on strong. Lahamadou was always one back in the 90s. 8 fish limit. If you had 18 pounds, you're like, oh, dude, I got this one. I mean, if you had literally a 2-pound average with a 3-pounder in there, you could win that thing. And Lahamadou is really coming on strong, but we're really seeing some neat things with a lot of these fisheries. Back in the day, we used to joke when Minnetonka and Prior Lake were, monster bags, and it was all about milfoil, and everybody was like, oh, God, if we could have milfoil and gull and milfoil and Lahamadou, they'd be so good. And, yeah, gull's got a little bit of milfoil, but it's nothing like Minnetonka was in Prior Lake. And same thing with Lahamadou. They're just naturally, I don't know what the reason is, but is it better fishermen, better technology, better lures? I don't know.
I
Have those
think I
fish
know the
always been
reason.
there? I think there's a part of it, but I think the lakes are just coming on in a tremendously good way, and Lahamadou's right there.
Well, zebra mussels. Okay, to me, Lahamadou is a lot like gull, to the point where you used to see a 2-pound class of largemouth dominate to the point where people couldn't get over that in their tournament bags, right?
Yep.
Well, with zebra mussels, what we've seen that due to the grass edge and due to the grass and the vegetation in these fisheries, it's pushed the weed line out to where gull, you see coontail growing up in 25 foot of water.
Sure.
In some places. Lahamadou is the same way. Lahamadou, the weed line used to be in 15 to 18 foot, right?
Yeah.
And if you fish that same weed line now, you would be on top of the grass.
Got it.
And
Got it.
that's my theory on it. I'm not saying I have the answer, but to
No, I
me,
think that's a great observation because it's
you've seen a
the
direct
bigger
correlation.
the bigger the forest, the bigger the deer. More
seen
cover, more
You've seen a direct correlation with that vegetation growing deeper and that zebra mussel getting into the lake and tournament weights. They both are on that same curve.
Yeah.
And Lahamadou, I remember in the Silverado days.
We're not promoting exotic species by any means.
We're not saying spread them.
We're talking cause and effect.
We're talking about the people who did spread them and what happened.
I'm just saying don't kill
Completely
weeds.
different.
Yeah.
Don't kill lake weeds.
Amen. Yeah. But Lahamadou,
Anyway,
I remember the
Lahamadou.
Silverados. I was an AM. I got paired with John Wick III.
Ooh, yeah.
John Wick III.
Local.
Yeah.
Cabin on the
John.
lake.
Post spawn.
Wait a minute. Did Big John or Julio?
John Wick III.
Big John. His hands were bigger than your head?
He wasn't small, but I'm not going to say he was
That's
huge.
Big John, yeah.
Okay. We were throwing wacky Senkos, and I think we had like 14th or 16th place, like pretty good finish for the Silverado. We had like 16 pounds for 6.
That's a big
Yep.
bag back then.
That was a
Yep.
big bag
Yep.
back then. Now you're seeing those 5-fish tournaments win
Yep.
with 18 to 20 pounds, right?
Yep.
That used to be 15 or 16
Yeah.
pounds, right? Gull, same thing. So Lahamadou's opened up
Yeah.
in many ways, but there's a lot of ways in an every fish counts format. To me, there's a lot of there's a
And
lot of stuff that could go down
that
out
time
there.
of year, end of August. Is it a hot August? Is it a cool August?
Well, lake split factors in too.
Lake
It's kind of like
splits?
Whitefish,
No,
where Carlos
lake
fishes different
split's
than
got not-
Lahamadou. That
Get over
fishes-
the lake split. It's got nothing
Just-
to do with it, Teal.
I'm not saying that we have a different lake split. Everybody fishes
I'm
the
not out to
same
get
lake
you.
split.
I'm
I'm
not
not
out to
saying
get
that you
you.
are, Chief. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying that it's a chain like Whitefish, so you have bodies of water on the chain that lay out a little bit different and have different topography.
Seems
Carlos-
like, I mean, unless we're starting to cool down and things get a little funky in terms of early fall. I hate to say early fall and when it's an August tournament, but if it's, summer conditions, call it, you'd think, I mean, there's so much offshore structure on that entire chain. I mean, there's nooks and points and turns. I mean, it's just endless out there, right, in terms of deeper water schools. And, I believe the last time we were there, I think we saw, one of our first, like, just absolute smash fests between John Figge and Jim Moyna in the first and into the second half of that tournament,
Yep.
where those guys had weed line, jig worm schools where, it's every cast.
Yep.
Just the perfect storm of the Champions Tour, right? Where they had a few key groups of fish offshore where you can hit spot lock and sit there and catch one after another. And you would think that is pretty likely for the event this year, and that's what, if it were me, that's what I'd be looking for, is that place where, I mean, again, to me, that's the ultimate goal in at least a summer Champions Tour event. If you can find offshore schools where you can sit there and not move and not waste time and catch fish after fish and be efficient in that way, I mean, that's gravy. That's the ultimate. And it seems like this could be that event where the guys that can locate those schools and stay on top of them and make the adjustments if they shut down, or, if you go to the next one, whatever it may be, the guys that can stay on those big groups of fish. And again, to your guys' point that you're talking about, the whole fishery is getting better and better. The fish are a little bit bigger. You got on the right schools, and, we're talking 100 to 150 pounds to win this thing. If conditions are right.
My dark horse on that lake is the shallow water bite.
I don't disagree with that.
Lahamadou has always been notorious for a shallow water bite year-round, be it not just docks, but pencil reeds, pads, main lake, shallow water. That late August, I don't care where you are in Minnesota, that late August, there's always a shallow water bite that fires up that time of year. And Lahamadou, that could be the dark horse there. I agree with you, Jack, on the deep schools.
No,
you get into that late August, you get
start to get some cooler nights and some hint of September going. I agree. Yep.
So my dark horse, not an angler dark horse pick, is the dark horse pattern is shallow bite for Lahamadou. That
good
could
call.
be really interesting to watch.
Good call.
What's your thoughts on that, Glenn? Because I have some thoughts on that and reasoning for that.
I think that's totally true. I mean, when I was looking through the anglers, like that shallow water guy, I go back to Brad Leiferman.
And he's got.
I mean,
He's fished a couple of derbies.
I'm sure
on
he's
Lahamadou.
probably.
I would
dangled
probably
I'm sure
say-
he's dangled a worm in
north
that
of,
lake a couple
north
times.
of 3.
I would probably say it's a contest between him and Dino as far as experience on that water. For the most experience on the Lahamadou chain.
I'm also going to go with like your pick for Whitefish with Jacob Novak, a guy that's ready for a breakout. Andy Nichols.
Yeah.
He's been around.
It's a good pick anywhere.
He's never won. I think he was second, last year or 2 years ago at Vermilion.
Last year he had
He's
a strong
always there.
showing.
He's
at
always
Vermilion.
right there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He's a good
always
pick
right
for
But
there.
any of
he's
them.
ready, and I mean, he has tons of time on the water. He has tons of experience on Lahamadou. So I think Andy, I think Brad, and I like another angler. I think ready. You know, it's kind of been knocking there. David
Sickinator.
Sticking
Yeah.
And David's got a ton of experience up there too.
Yep.
That's a good
And
one.
I
That's a good one.
think he has some experience on offshore, and I think he could go shallow too.
He's
Yep.
just a good angler.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So to me,
And I mean, in that preview article, Jim Moyna is very unhappy at how that event ended. So he wants revenge on that lake. So if anyone has like the kind of like Dean with Whitefish, Jim, I guess what I would say would be the favorite, like going into it. He's the guy coming in swinging, looking for that uppercut.
sure.
I mean, I would say, Jim is as accomplished of a Minnesota angler as anybody,
Yep.
He's a pioneer.
but he hasn't won a Champions Tour event. So, I don't want to say a guy knocking on the door because he's knocked on
Yeah.
tons of doors and
Yes.
broke them all down. I mean, he's
Yep.
as good as anybody out there in terms of our Minnesota crew, but he's due to win one for sure.
He is.
And that could be the one.
And Jim's put up 2 years ago, talking with him, he had a big change in, I shouldn't say focus and determination towards the Champions Tour. It was a change in strategy.
Yes.
His focus and determination is the same on everything. It was a change in strategy, and since then he's been perennially top tens. And last year was challenging for Angler of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't we, I think, look at a stat on Jim? I think he has the most top 10 or at the championship last year. I think we were.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
got to be close.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he's,
think-
Yeah.
Or the most checks, maybe, or something.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and that couple years ago, first tournament before the meeting, he's like, Paul, I got to figure it out. I think I got to figure it out. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And this is Jim Moyna, who's been fishing FLW Tour and BASS forever. Mm-hmm. He said, when I'm fishing, and he's won FLW Tour events, he says, when I'm fishing one of those events, I need to catch 5 bass. I need to be in the right spot at the right time to get 5 bites. And that may only last 5 minutes in a day. I finally figured it out with the Champions Tour. I have to be in the right spot at the right time, catching the right fish every 15 minutes of the day.
Right.
And we talked about it. And he's like, he sat long. He's like, I sat long and hard and thought about this, and it totally changed his strategy and his dynamic. And ever since then, he's, like you said, his stats went through the roof, and he's due. He's gonna crush one.
And I just think his versatility. I mean, we've seen it on the Champions Tour. Like, again, with all of his experience on so many different fisheries, I mean, he can catch them shallow, he can catch them deep, and everywhere in between. I mean, I can't think of a more versatile. I mean, it's just he can do it anywhere. And to your guys' point about maybe a potential shallow water deal on Lahamadou, I mean, he can adjust and he's seen it all, right? So that could be one for him. But
I'm thinking my veteran pick for Lahamadou is John Figge. Can't go wrong there. Mm-hmm. He's proven it there. He's due to win another one. Former Angler of the Year.
For Mother Russia.
Mother Russia. My other favorite is Ron Mayer.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Ron's due. I have a sneaky little dark horse on that one, and I think Dan Fabiano could be due too as a dark horse.
That's a good one.
And I think Lahamadou fits Dan
Yep.
really well. He's
Do a little bit of everything, kind of put it all together.
a squirrel.
He's a shell.
Dan is
It's a squirrely lake.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Big time. But Dan's putting it together, and Dan's due. But I think my overall favorite is either Figge or Mayer. We were talking about rookies coming on the tour and coming in after that first event and, not expecting what happened to happen. Ron was the first guy that came on the tour that he come in and he's like, all right, why do we got to be here for an hour for lunch? Let's get going. I mean, and I'm still getting to know Ron. I've known him for several years, but he just impresses me more and more and more. And I don't know why I picked him. I don't know why I only picked him for Lahamadou, but I think he could be in a top 5 pick for winners for every event.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yep. But Figgy, he's going to be right there. He's another one that could be picked for every
100%.
event. But Fabiano's definitely my dark horse. He, like Andy Nichols, is there.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I mean, to your point about the potential shallow water thing and where we're at with the weather, I mean, that's the total question mark.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been there in quite a few years, but like Lahamadou was kind of like a miniature Minnetonka in my mind.
Without Milfo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just fish, and if you get to that cooler nights period, like it can get funky, one way or another. So it just depends. I mean, if we're still in like warm summer nights and fish are schooled up and they're biting out on a weed line on a jig worm or frankly, whatever you want to catch them on, drop shot, whatever, then it could be
chicken.
Yeah. It could be really high weights, or it could be pretty challenging.
Yeah.
So
Who are your picks? You got 3?
didn't I say? No, I don't.
He
know.
went.
You picked the pattern.
I picked the pattern.
You think
You
he's
did.
offshore.
You picked the pattern.
Oh man.
I can go first if you want.
I actually kind of
Yeah, let me go. You go. You go.
you chew on that.
I'll chew on it. I'll chew on it.
So I think just in general, the interesting thing about Lahamadou that time of year kind of factors
Before
in-
you steal it, I'm going Tony Hatton
Oh.
because I knew you were going to say that.
I love how you stepped on the
Yeah.
host of the show.
No,
You totally stepped on the host. I love it.
fair pick. I might still even pick him.
I think he's going to pick Aaron Teal.
That's probably in there. Yeah. So
Dark horse.
Okay, continue.
I'm
Not to
gonna build,
interrupt,
I'm gonna
but
build the suspense by talking about the general pattern of the lake. To me, the interesting thing about what we're debating about with offshore versus shallow, to me, the big factor to me is pressure. Lahamadou's seen a lot of pressure over the years. You've got high school 100-boat tournaments out there, and we've seen this with lakes like I've experienced it with Gull, where it used to be the end of August was offshore schooling haven. And if you weren't fishing offshore, I mean, do something like that's what you needed to be doing. Well, last year, I mean, I think every Champions angler experienced a tougher offshore bite than we're used to. And I don't think it's because there wasn't fish out there. I think it's because of all that tournament pressure that they've seen. We've seen this on Lake Minnetonka, where you used to maybe be able to blast 12 to 15 to 20 bass out of a school. Well, with the pressure there, now the best time to fish offshore is that end of post spawn period.
Yeah.
Where
Get the fresh ones.
They're fresh.
get the fresh ones, right? Where it used to be, like I remember I was 16 years old fishing tournaments, like it was one offshore in the end of August.
Yeah.
Well, now with the pressure we're seeing in the summer and how good anglers have gotten, how good technology's gotten with 360, Mega Live, you name it, the Ultrex and Spot Lock.
Yeah.
These guys are getting better offshore.
Lake
And
Master.
these fish are feeling
100%,
that.
100%.
And to me, cold nights would be a factor to that shallow water deal playing. But to me,
2 months of getting beat on.
2 months of getting beat on,
Yeah.
I'm curious if those offshore fish are going to be able to handle that pressure. And you and I both know that I would love for that to be the case because I love to fish offshore. But to me, the wild card with a lake like Lahamadou, Whitefish, or Gull is their major tournament destinations. And with technology, high school fishing, and all of this hoopla and talent in the state, that's putting a little bit bigger amount of pressure on those offshore fish. So it really, to me, is a wild card for all of these events. But one of my picks would be Tony Hatton. And he'd probably be my pick for Whitefish, too, because he's an excellent offshore angler. So if that offshore bite plays, Tony Hatton is probably going to be on him. And then I'm actually going to pick
Let me
4
guess. I
for
bet he
this
throws
one.
a jig.
I promise he does. And he'll wax that sweet ass on it. And That's what he does. So I think, Whitefish Lahamadou, I could have picked him for either one, but he's definitely my pick for Lahamadou.
He won a fairly big tournament out there last year.
He's won out in Lahamadou,
Yep.
and him and I have actually fished together and won on Whitefish before,
Yeah.
offshore. So he'd be one of my picks. My other pick would be Aaron Teal, because if he doesn't get it done on Big Stone, or if
Or
he doesn't get it
Whitefish.
done on Whitefish,
Or Whitefish
you know,
Pro-Am.
Whitefish Pro-Am.
then he's due on Lahamadou.
Yep.
Right.
And then my last pick, I'm going to actually split between two of my bros, because I think they're as good at anglers
You're
as
the
anybody.
host. You're allowed.
Dane Veselka, I think if he doesn't knock on the door at those first two events, I'm scared of him on Lahamadou. And then the other guy I would pick is James Chapman. To me, he's a guy who is very experienced angler and kind of finds that bite maybe other people don't find. So if there's a sneaky little something that's off the wall, somewhere weird, James Chapman's going to find it and he'll catch him. So.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
So
And then the championship. Yeah, Paul, you said you're going to announce the championship lake tonight?
I'm going to announce that at Big Stone, we will announce the championship.
Well, that's a hell of an announcement, ladies
I
and
am
gentlemen.
going to announce that at Big Stone pre-tournament
go.
meeting, we will
The
announce the
announcement
championship.
of the announcement.
I heard Glenn might leak it.
But
Just
what-
because he knows you won't fire him.
What I want to do, though, is we're going to talk about the whole season, and we've talked about the whole season, previewed the bodies of water, we've made some picks, this and that. I want to maybe do some picks as to who's going to make the championship. We don't have a lake. We don't know who's going to be in it. I would like to play a little game of pick the pattern to win the championship. What's your top 3 pattern picks for the championship? Now, the championship is a 1 week after Lahamadou. You brought pick
1
the
week?
pattern up, and 1 week after.
How are we supposed to pick the pattern? We don't know the lake.
I agree with
I actually don't ever want to pick anglers ever again. I just want to go through a preview of the tournament and pick the pattern.
So preview of the tournament also includes the lake name, correct?
No,
No. Okay.
pick the pattern. It's
Pick the
right
pattern.
before Labor Day weekend
Early
in Minnesota.
Early September in Minnesota. Pick the pattern.
So 50% of the field qualifies
it'll be
to
a-
go to the championship, and we do have to say the championship for the Champions Tour is a free event. So when you qualify for the championship, you get to fish for a fully rigged skeeter boat with a Yamaha outboard with no entry fee. There's nowhere else that you can go do that. That is a huge deal. So you've got 3 qualifying events in the year, but the top 50 out of the tour get to go to that championship. And now it's a 1-day free-for-all for that Skeeter Yamaha with no entry fee. So that's huge. And we do it, quickly thereafter. Pre-fishing is limited. You get the weekend before, and then the 3 days of the week up to it off limits, so the lake's fresh. Everybody's going to get to know at Big Stone where the championship is, so that way they've got something to shoot for all year long. But the championship's a big deal. The championship, one thing that we don't talk enough about, I believe, is in a typical Angler of the Year standings, it's your qualifying events throughout the year that determine your Angler of the Year. Bassmasters Classic, for example, there are no Angler of the Year points in that. So they fish all year to qualify for that, but then that determines Angler of the Year. We actually include our championship in Angler of the Year because we actually think that's a pretty important part about being Angler of the Year is concluding all tournaments. So the championship, Angler of the Year can be decided at that event.
It is decided at that event.
Well, it is decided, of course, but I guess what I meant to say is that those points count.
Yeah.
Towards
No,
it.
yeah,
Yes.
you're absolutely
No,
right.
you're right. It is. I mean, it's final, so it's decided.
I'm
of
just
course.
saying
Yeah.
the championship is very important to that race.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only out there fishing for a boat with no entry fee, but you're fishing for the Angler of the Year title.
How many Angler of the Year titles have been changed, where maybe the guy leading AOI into the championship doesn't end up winning AOI,
It almost happened last year with Matt Thompson.
right?
It was really close.
I believe Matt last year had to get 12th or better.
And I think he finished 11th or 10th.
No,
He got up there a little bit. He had a good second half. And he made it a little less stressful on himself. But
it wasn't.
The first half
it wasn't locked up solid all day.
On Trout. When Noah won AOY that year.
Matt Peters won.
Peters won.
Angler of the
Peters
Year on
won
Trout. He won
at
the
all.
championship
Oh,
and
yeah.
he won Angler of the Year.
Because
and I think didn't he have to win Trout in order to win Angler of the Year?
Potentially.
It was pretty close.
Because Kyle Schuda was runner-up. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So Peters, by winning on Trout,
won a boat and won Angler of the Year.
and won AOI.
Sure. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by my brother from another mother, my tournament partner, and the best rod builder north of the equator that still has 20/20 vision, Veselka Fishing and Customs, specializing in custom fishing rods. Your custom rod, the way you want it, because it has to be your rod. However, he has a wide variety to choose from, including his all-new for 2023 custom chicken rod. If you throw the big fluff, the hairy Gary, the rotisserie dissery, the half-ounce Palomalu, the 3/4-ounce rooster biscuit, the lightener looking like D. Snyder, you're going to want to be throwing the Veselka Fishing Chicken Special Big Hair Jig Rod. Mr. Veselka spent a lot of time on this rod, and it has the perfect action to throw, hook, and land those fish that you maybe pulled the bait out from because the rod was too stiff, or had them spit it because your rod didn't have the backbone. Well, the new Chicken Special from Veselka Fishing and Customs has worked to solve both of those issues, along with superior balance and quality components. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. Pick this rod up before it's too late, because up here in the North Country, they about to be schooling.
Hey guys, Gavin with Waypoint Angler Supply here. Just wanted to highlight the fact that we have the big bass resource right here. Obviously, everybody in Minnesota knows about Kitex and the littler swim baits like these bait labs here. But we're here to have the big baits here in the store. We got Huddlestons, we've got the dangerous swim baits, the jointed claw glide baits, and the bull shooter glide baits. But it's not only the baits. We've got big rods, big reels, big line, and all that good stuff for you guys to go ahead and chase your biggest fish of your life. So swing on into Waypoint Angler Supply and get hooked up with the biggest tackle around.
So it's a big tournament.
It's huge.
A lot can be decided.
Yep. For sure.
Pick the
I don't
pattern.
know. I think a buzzbait's going to play.
Nice. Nice.
You kind of mailed that
No
one
matter
in, but it's actually a
early
pretty good
September, no matter where it is, it's probably gonna be a little grindy.
pick. Little clacker.
You're gonna have an offshore, call it, or slightly deeper school/morning deal. That's not gonna be great, but maybe you catch 6, 8, 10 fish,
Yeah.
and then you scrap it up the rest of the day, kind of just like last year with Noah, and you just keep grinding away, and that's my pick the pattern.
Yep.
Start offshore, catch a fair amount, nothing crazy, and then scrap it up the rest of the day and put it together.
Yeah.
It's my pattern.
I like his pattern.
Pretty much junk fishing.
Yeah.
I like the starting offshore thing. It
Yeah.
gives me a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
See, September,
We just narrowed it down to 5,000 lakes.
I'm liking starting shallow in the morning. Get that early topwater bite.
That was
the
where I was
buzzbait,
going with
the
this.
spook.
Yep.
Maybe a little chatterbait. Oh, yeah. And then slowly, that early mid-morning, that 8, 9, slide offshore and go whack a few of those
I'm in for pancakes
that are still
by then.
out there.
He's thinking creep in. You're thinking creep out.
I'm thinking straight up afternoon session is nothing but docks, frogs,
I
and
like creeping
buzzbaits.
in.
That's what I said.
Docks, frogs, and buzzbaits in the afternoon.
Oh, that's not creeping out.
He creeps
I
out
said creep in.
mid-morning.
He's
Creep
creeping.
out,
He's
then
creeping
No,
back
I creeped
in.
out. Oh, you got to go
We
in,
already
then you got to
creeped
go
out.
back out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you go in, then you come out, and then you got to, yeah. I mean, I don't know where your heads
creeping
are going.
me. You're creeping
guy
me out.
doing
I don't know
everything.
where your heads are going.
Good
The
thing
guy
he's
who does
not
everything
Good
was
thing he's
gonna
not
do it.
staying here tonight.
Yeah.
I am not fishing these, so I can just speculate however I want.
Glenn, What's the winning pattern look like?
I kind of like Paul's.
In and out.
Yes, I think top
Thought
water
so.
early, and I think a guy would dabble offshore. I don't think it. I think you maybe get a couple, but then I think afternoon you junk, and I think if a guy can go flip, skip, and frog.
Every championship, and I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head here, but every championship that the Champions Tour's ever had is a grinder tournament.
Yeah, I don't think
Likely because it's early September, and that's just kind of how it goes.
I don't think we ever
But-
had one where one pattern stuck all day.
Right, or where someone just blew it out. It's
Yeah.
always like
Yeah.
just chipping away. Have a little flurry here, and then get caught by everybody else, and then kind of. So like, it's just the guy that can adjust and just keep his head in the game and just keep at him. Again, it gets back to that. Like, fishing in September can be challenging in Minnesota, it seems like. But I love it because, to me, for that championship, it kind of sorts out, like, the most versatile,
Yep.
best angler, which a championship should.
Absolutely.
Like, we see it year after year where, it's tough. Like, it's hard to get bites, which is rare in Minnesota. Let's be honest. Like, you can go out and catch bass pretty willingly, like,
Yeah.
on a lot of our lakes. But September is tricky. Like, and I think in every championship we've ever had, you see it where I think back to the very first one, 2017 on Pekagama. Andy Walls was the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
He was a local guy,
Yep.
and he stunk
Good
it up in the
favorite.
first half.
Yeah.
He was way down, and everyone was
Way,
like,
way.
what the heck's
Yeah.
going on? And it was just a challenging bite. Like,
Windy.
it was windy. He just didn't quite get locked in. But Andy's a super good fisherman, and he stayed after it. He knows that lake, and he came back from way down, and he won a boat. Like, and it's just that guy that can kind of encompass that whole like versatility and staying on fish consistently throughout the day, or at least getting back on fish anyway. And that's who's going to win that championship.
Yep.
And it's just kind of that time of year yields itself to like
Yep.
the most versatile guy that can keep his head in the game.
And keep his head out of getting stuck on one thing.
Yes.
Totally.
It's
yeah.
not just the versatility in the angler, it's the versatility of
Right.
the mind games.
Yep.
Of being able to just, I got to stay in that bite window all day. I don't care if I'm in 6 inches or 60 feet of water. Just go, 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 go.
So I know you love picking anglers, Paul.
Yeah.
And since we have to pick a pattern, why don't we pick some anglers for the championship this year? Who's going to win a boat?
Aaron Teal.
Love that pick.
I want to steal
Love
that pick before you.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to hear that in my sleep
If
tonight.
Matt Thompson doesn't win Big Stone, then he's my pick for the championship.
He gets 3, but he's only picking 1.
I'm going with Moina.
Moina. Moina's winning a boat this year. Jack?
I'm going with Figgy. I mean, has there been 2 or 3 where he's been ultra close in the championship?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, right out here on Mille Lacs.
Yep.
We all know he's super qualified all over the place. I think he's breaking through and winning the championship. After Aaron Teal. But
Well, I don't think Aaron Teal needs to make a pick.
I have one. It was
Okay.
a really tough decision. I've been working through it in my head, and it was a really tough pick. It's between me or Noah Schultz, and I think this is my year.
yeah.
There you go.
If it doesn't go down on Big Stone,
Or Lahamadou.
or if it does,
Or Whitefish.
I mean, it could be done twice. We've had some anglers prove that it could be done twice. However, try not to get greedy. 1 bass at a time. So,
Yeah.
could be my year to win a boat.
Could be.
I like it.
Yep.
Mic drop.
I mean, right now, the way my scorecard reads, I got not only Aaron Teal winning a boat, I have him winning Angler of the Year and winning all 3 qualifying events.
Man,
So, I mean, I got
Strong.
a clean sweep.
Yeah.
with
Strong.
my
Buttering me
scorecard.
up.
Yeah.
strong.
AOI is my goal this year.
Okay.
along with everybody else fishing. But
Well, no. Matt Thompson, I guarantee you that's not his goal this year. He told me.
I believe
He wants
that.
He doesn't.
actually.
He
believe
said he
that.
flat out told me I do not care
don't
about
even
another. He goes, I do not want another Yeti cooler. I do not want
That's a
another
lie.
Moolah
That's a
cup.
lie.
No.
I'm
He
saying
told me
that's-
this.
I believe that he doesn't want Angler of the Year,
Yeah.
but he wants every one of those Yetis.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he told me he doesn't. I knew he was lying on that one
He's
because he
building
likes to rub those Yeti coolers in everybody's face.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You want this? Come take it away from me.
He'd rather win a Yeti than an event. Like,
No, but
what's
he
in
flat
the
out told
past.
me he does not want any more Moolah cups, no Yetis, no Anglers of the Years. All he wants to do is win a tournament and go win a boat.
That's fine. Pass some Moolah cups to Daddy, Matt Thompson. Oofta,
He'll give those up, but I think he's lying when he says he'd give up the Yetis.
Yeah.
for sure.
In fact, the other day, I was
Those
talking
ain't-
to him. He went, where the heck was he? He was at a gas station or whatever, and some kids who were some fishing shirts on. They walked up to him and said, "Hey, you're the big Yeti, right?" And he's like, "My name is Matt." "Oh no, but you're Big Yeti, aren't you?" He's like, "I didn't even know my name. I'm just."
No, that's my only. That's his OnlyFans name.
No,
That's
he's
different.
like, "All right, dude. If you think I'm Big Yeti, all right, I'm the Yeti." Yep. So he earned it.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
So we've kind of previewed the season, but there's been a history with the Champs Tour and dangerousness, and you guys have seen every bit of it.
Dangerousness.
Dangerousness on
That's
the
a
Champions Tour.
Challenging word.
Well, there's dangerous anglers on the Champions Tour that seem to have the deal figured out, and call it the bounty list, if you will, for all the anglers maybe coming in. Who do you need to look out for that is pretty much always there? Who? I mean, there's 10 guys.
Chad
I
Grigsby.
know. Chad Grigsby. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. John Figgy to me is always there.
Yep.
To me,
Why not?
we're lucky Kyle Shute is not fishing this year because
Right.
he's
Yeah.
always there.
I mean, Matt Peters, like,
Always there.
I feel like Matt has, I mean, we've heard him talk about, like, he has the Champions Tour plan, like, down to the minute. I mean, he knows how many bass he's supposed to catch.
He's
Like,
slightly Kirk Cousins-ish with spreadsheets.
100%.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which, in the
Big
Champions
data
Tour
guy.
He'll never
format,
admit it, but he is slightly.
yeah. I forget what he said, but he's, you're supposed, he's based off previous weights on lakes and like whatever. You got to catch 20 bass per half, or and by
Yep.
the minute. He's got this like dialed down to
Yep.
statistics, and you can't knock it because I mean I believe he's, well, I don't know. I guess him and Noah are probably right there in
Yeah.
terms of wins. I'm
Yep.
not sure, but
Yep.
He's
Noah
one of
made
the
it.
winningest anglers.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
Yeah. So
Capra. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been solid. Moyna last year was
Yeah.
a force to be reckoned
Yep.
with. Jacob Novak, Hunter Went, Luke Gilland has won an event, and he almost leading on the river last year.
Yep.
yep.
Noah Schultz is pretty good.
I heard that. I heard a rumor about that. We'll see.
Arnold's
Yeah.
consistent.
Well,
Arnold is always
Arnold's
right there.
Arnold's that little machine.
Yep.
Just. It's Arnold again. He's coming after me.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a machine.
Like you said, I mean, Chad Grigsby he hasn't fished a ton of our events, but a couple years worth, and he's.
Chad's.
I mean, he's
Andy
again,
Nichols.
he's another guy that has so much experience,
Yeah.
Chad's
all
one-
over the nation, and he puts that together to
Yep.
again adjust, like little adjustments you got to make throughout the day to stay on fish consistently, and he knows how to do that because he's fished at.
Well, his first year he only fished 2 because the third one he had a conflict,
Right.
and he damn near made the championship.
Right,
Yeah.
right. He's a good one. Nichols, like you said, I mean, Andy fishes everything under the sun, and
Yeah.
that does him well.
Aaron's cheating, looking at the.
So many good anglers, dude.
Yeah, I
cheating,
mean,
looking at
we've
the
already
list.
Matt
named
Thompson.
we've already named half the roster.
Yeah,
straight up. Timmy Schroeder's good. I mean, there's a couple
Yeah.
jig worming events this year.
he's
I
won a
mean,
Champions Tour event. He knows he knows the deal.
Previous record holder.
Previous
right.
record.
I mean, he's
holder.
not just a winner. He's
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Willie Papa fishing again. He's
Yeah.
Oh,
had
Dangerous
some
Willie.
time out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
He
Stick
could
in
be a-
Air. You
That's
got
another one. I mean, that's another one that
Willie P could
Willie-
be a sneaky one on Whitefish.
again, always in the mix. Hasn't won yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
He could be a breakthrough.
Yep.
Like, he's been very close a couple times.
Definitely a fan favorite.
Yep.
Yeah. Clayton Storing, I think, is knocking on
That's
the
a good
door.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connor O'Connor, we mentioned him. He's, I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't fish last year.
No, but he got back in this year. Yeah, no, I'm excited to have Connor back.
Here's a name that, I mean, might take us back in time a little bit, but I think George Little might have a little bit of reawakening this year. I mean, talk about a legend in the industry.
Legend in the industry, and I don't know if he gets enough legendary credit for his abilities as an angler.
I agree with that.
George and I have got a very deep history fishing together, and that man has taught me more about fishing than anybody I've ever known. And yeah, he's unbelievable at just putting a rod in his head and go finding fish. Yeah,
I mean, if we're talking about experience catching bass, I mean, that dude is fished.
Number one.
He's fished a classic.
Fished a classic. He's won a Sturgeon Bay
Yeah.
Open.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's won a St. Jude with Paul Neumann.
He's won 2 of them.
2 of them. Back to back, I believe. That story's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah,
he
that's-
didn't need his partner for those either. Just to be there to be legal to have the limit. Yeah. No, he's one of those guys that you get in a boat with and just go fishing. And he's just like, I'm like, okay, what are we going to go do? He's like, we're just going to go right over there. We're going to throw this and we're going to catch him. And he does. It's just like, really? Come on, man. But yeah.
I'm just wondering, is Brian Bankston going to take top 3 in Lahamadou 2 tournaments in a row? Because he had 3rd in the state tournament on Lahamadou last year.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody we haven't mentioned yet to me, Brian Bankston's got a lot of tournament experience.
Yes.
Ton of experience.
And yeah, pretty dangerous anywhere we go. But Lahamadou, he put it together last year in the state tournament. So I think,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a topwater bite in play, I know Bankston's look out for him for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's a guy that has now he's got a lot of tournament
Sure.
experience, but he's accumulated a pretty good amount of championship experience.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he knows the deal.
Well, he was in contention the last time we were in Minnetonka.
I was just
He
going to
was.
say that. He was
Wasn't he
wrecking
leading?
him. He was wrecking him
Oh,
in
yeah.
the morning. Yeah.
He was. If
Or
he did
top
not
3.
take the lead,
He was right
he
there.
was about
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So he knows the game.
For sure. Man, there's so many. Kevin Fassbend, he's always up there. it
Yeah.
Seems like.
He was challenging for the championship
Sure.
last year.
Yep.
Marty the Party Thompson, this could be his year too.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
The bottom line is competition is stiff in the
Yes.
Champions Tour.
Yep.
Mike Ulick, I mean, there's Tim Olsby.
Ulick is one.
Ulick is a. You
Yep.
can catch him.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yep.
Tyler Barr, he was leading Gull last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oofta.
Yeah.
He never lets his brother live that one down either. He keeps teasing Kyle about that.
Yeah, that's a little family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, family
I don't.
battle there.
I don't egg it on at all between those two brothers at all.
Michael Walters, I mean, he's won.
He's
on
won an
Sturgeon.
Open.
Yeah, he's won some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Fishburne, I mean, Luke Gillen's fishing again. Ken
Yep.
Quilt, he had a good finish on
Yeah,
Vermilion
Vermilion.
last year.
Yep.
John Gopinski. Willard's a scary guy once again. I don't think we missed anyone.
No.
Daniel
What about
Larson,
Aaron Teal? Have we talked about him yet?
besides he's the top pick for every event, I don't know if we have.
Should we talk about your new tattoo?
We should. Yeah.
Is that what is changing everything for you this year?
Yeah. It's giving me a new outlook on life.
New job, new tattoo, new
Job,
haircut.
new haircut.
Yep.
Or lack thereof. But yeah, I actually got this little hair jig.
Oh, not a good start.
Not a good start.
Almost Dante Culpeppered that microphone. but
Oh.
we were good.
Mic drop. Shows off the hair jig tattoo and does a
Dan
mic
got me
drop.
this forearm tattoo last week.
Now I notice that's definitely marabou, not bucktail.
Yeah, you can tell based on kind of the lines that he put into the into the piece.
Newman's
And,
a big bucktail hair jig.
Only on certain lakes.
Oh, he says it's not about the bucktail.
Sleeper.
He uses a synthetic. He's kind of a poser. It's kind of like
What are
a-
you
it's a
talking about? I've
Nickelback.
never told you what I like.
I've asked you. I was like, I tie it with the real bucktail. Do you like the? He's like, no, that doesn't matter.
I must have been lying to
Doesn't
you.
matter.
I must have been just saying.
Now
stuff
I'm questioning
to sound like,
every
I must have
conversation
been
we've
just
ever had.
lying to sound like I was being smart and actually knew something.
I think we just need to reacquaint ourselves because I don't trust a damn word you've told me ever now.
Now my plan is coming together.
Nice.
Yep. I love the tattoo, by the way.
I'm glad you
It
like
does look
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like it.
Are we
accents
gonna
my
get
forearm really nice.
Are we gonna get a Voselka custom hair jig rod added to that tattoo?
It's the beginning of a sleeve, and there's gonna be a hair jig rod on it, along with every single other one of my favorite lures. I just don't want to give them away too fast.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if there's a chatterbait on there, like you'd give it all away.
What would that give away? Come on, tell me.
I don't know. Do you use bucktail in your jigs?
Maybe. I've been known to use a little elk hair.
It's
Elk?
hollow. It floats.
Actually, yes. Elk, yes. Do you not know the subtleties in your animal fur?
Wildebeest fur, honestly, is the most low-key
No, I'm serious.
tip I will ever give anybody. I can't even believe I'm saying this on the podcast, but wildebeest fur is like the sneakiest.
Do you like have to like smuggle it in with rhino?
You have to
horn,
get
or
it
what?
from Africa.
Obviously, because that's where
Yeah.
they live.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to get it from
Or do
Africa.
you sneak into the Minnesota Zoo and steal a pinch?
Customs does not seem to have an issue with it because my connection, my source, he delivers.
For wildebeest hair.
Yeah.
All right.
You think bucktail breathes? Wait till you see a wildebeest in the water.
Oh, I'm done.
Good time to wrap it up.
I think we go
Yeah.
fit. Let's go
Done.
fishing tomorrow.
I'm down. dude.
Done. Let's go do media day tomorrow.
Dude, I got the wildebeest. I'm breaking out the wildebeest.
Is that what's
tomorrow.
on your arm, the wildebeest?
It's a wildebeest media day if I've ever seen it. So, yeah, media day anglers, look out. I got the wildebeest tomorrow.
Hey.
Well,
Elk, yeah, elk fur.
next.
I remember my
Do
first
you not
elk
know
jig.
the difference?
Remember my first elk
Are you
jig.
are you seriously gonna rip me on this?
Remember my first elk jig.
Did you know? Let me teach you something about being a good angler. You need to know. You got to listen to the subtleties in the back of your head and the ear, because when I said elk hair, Jack very quietly mumbled, "Well, yeah, it's hollow. Didn't you know that?"
So is
and you
bucktail.
totally missed that.
So was bucktail.
Not like elk fur.
Maybe not as
Ask
hollow.
him. It's very different.
Have you ever heard of an elk hair caddis for fly fishing?
I just don't think he heard wildebeest very much.
It's a dry fly that floats like a cork.
Really? Yeah. So do you put that on the inside of your
feel like
chicken
I'm on-
for added buoyancy?
I feel like I'm on public radio.
Do you put that on the inside of your chicken for added buoyancy?
I don't know. My 15-year-old ties my chickens.
Does your 15-year-old?
I don't have
put
any
elsewhere on
idea
the
what he
inside
does.
of the chicken for added buoyancy.
I do not have any idea what he does.
You don't make him put elk hair in it. You can ground him if he doesn't.
I think I'm doing just fine just telling him here's what color I want, and he gives me the product.
I got you.
Yeah. And that, to be honest
Nice
with you,
interactive bonding
be honest
experience
with you,
between
I
father
think-
and son.
I think I just occasionally get to fish it and catch one on it, but I think he does just fine fishing high school with the jigs he ties.
For sure. And you telling him where to throw them. It's
I
good
don't
parenting.
tell him, not
Yeah.
anymore.
No? You make him scan
No.
for his own schools now?
He's on his own.
Really?
I already told him in the pro-am, you are not allowed to take whoever your pro is to my fish.
You can't.
I know he can't. It's not in the rules.
No, it is in the rules.
That's totally him running the show. I can't go to all the spots Paul showed me.
No.
These kids
No,
know
my
this.
kids, I try to teach them behavior of fish. And yes, high school fishing and this and that, they have to pick where they go, but we pre-fish together. But this year I've told Oliver flat out, I'm like, dude, this is your show. We want Chickamauga. They did the Bass High School Open down there. And, of course, the boat captain's pre-fishing with him. But I, put him down 2 months before the tournament, gave him the One Boat Network app, pulled up Chickamauga. I said, dude, start marking stuff. Figure it out. We're not here for me. We're here for you. And I just required to be there. And, they need to find their own fich.
Newman put 2 days in. He's like, I got nothing. You're on your own, kid.
What do I know? No, and Oliver's doing fantastic. His passion for this sport is borderline scary.
Okay, now I want to hear the Glenn Walker parenting method.
Right now, it's
Do
just
you make your kids find their own spots?
Not yet.
Not
right
yet?
now, it's just getting out there. Yeah.
How old are they?
7 and 4.
Oh, they can find their own spots. They're old enough.
It's more about finding the snacks in the cooler.
Oh, you got to teach them how to make their own fire.
Yeah, they find their snacks in the cooler.
Yeah.
I'm fishing. I'm hungry. Yeah, you know where the cooler is. Dig.
You don't got any rugrats running around yet, do you?
Yes.
She walking?
15 months.
Well, she's walking.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Old
running
enough to
around.
find her own stuff
Snacks
on the water.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's side scanning. She's,
Do you make your
Yeah.
15-month-old find her own snacks?
yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
start them young.
You're on
Gotta
your
teach
own.
them to be self-sufficient.
No, she's doing good. She's not quite on the One Boat Network yet, but she's
Close.
she's close.
Does she have an Instagram?
No.
Smart.
That's one thing Ollie
Smart.
hit on me. He's
Not
got
until
his
she's
own
30.
Neumann fishing, whatever Instagram
He does.
thing that I didn't know of.
Barracuda is the profile picture, I think.
I believe it is.
Yeah, he's
Cuda.
into saltwater fishing and he's big into fly fishing. Yeah, so I like to tease him about it, but that's one passion that I can't kill because it's something different,
Well,
Gotta
he
be
can
into fishing.
he can mesh that with bass fishing. Like there's a little bit of
Yeah.
mesh to be had with fly fishing and bass fishing.
Yep.
But
So
well,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
yeah,
This was fun.
let's go fishing tomorrow.
Yeah,
Heck yeah, I actually get to say that with you guys.
we're on the big pond tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
Big media day tournament. So we're gonna get after it. But that was like a good preview. Really got to learn a lot about the season, the anglers, and it was really good to know what the championship lake is. Not.
Nice try.
20 days. Not even that. 15 days.
15 days, you're fine.
15 days.
Relax. Patience.
We're good.
Big Stone, Whitefish, Lahamadou, and TBD.
TBD. TBD's a good lake.
Champions Tour 2023.
We already know what the pattern's going to be at TBD.
Yeah.
It's a big mystery, folks. Thanks for joining us. This is Aaron Teal, Glenn Walker, Paul Neumann, and Jack Gavin with Channel 5 News. Checking in, checking out.